my beard.
Hello, beer lovers everywhere. Welcome to a brand new, now that's music to my beers.
Yes, it is.
Did I say that right?
You did. That was good. That was awesome.
Hey, we got some really special guests with us tonight. And if you've been on any of our shows or watched them, you've probably seen them in the comments quite a bit. And that is Andrea and Arthur from Heavy Metal Beer Club.
There you go.
Yeah, welcome. So great to have you guys with us.
Oh, Jeff's got it. Jeff's got it. Look at that.
Yeah, we've been watching. How long have we been watching them? For quite some time.
Yeah,
so,
a few
yeah,
years. Yeah, we love it.
Yeah,
Every
we
time.
love the show.
Yep.
We look forward all day long when we say, "Oh, we got a TTBA."
It's Tuesday. Yeah,
TTABA Tuesday, huh?
Yeah, then we'd usually jump on early because you were doing the earlier segment with Jeff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And of course, right up our alley talking about beers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and you guys have your own YouTube channel too.
Yes,
which is awesome. Very
That's
cool.
a lot of fun. And really, we don't talk about his music as much. Sometimes I'll nerd out a little bit, and I'll mention little names here and there of different bands and things they liked. And but most of the time, we just talk about the beer tasting.
Try to stick to our brief point.
Yeah.
The review.
Yeah, we never do that. We never stick to our point.
Yeah, it's kind of tough because I can easily go on tangents and go down rabbit holes.
Yep.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to pay attention to do that kind of stuff, and my brain drifts all over the place, so we can never stay on point.
So this is our second episode in our new series.
Yeah.
And last time we had Jeff the Guru of the Suds on, and Gentry. I'm going to call him Pestilence now, but he wasn't last time. What were you last time?
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog. That's right. You were Mad Dog. And then we're really excited to have Tim on this time. We missed you last time, and really excited to have you on this one.
Yeah,
Very excited to be on.
me.
Thank you.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm actually going to start off with you, Tim, because last time we all got nice and cozy with each other, got to know each other. But and I know you're a little short on time today, possibly. So I want to get your introductions done and kind of give us a little background about you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think you guys the last show you kind of talked about how you got into music and all that. I guess is that kind of what you're looking for? What kind of got me introduced? Well, it is kind of an interesting story. I moved to Long Beach, California in when I was transitioning from second to third grade. Didn't know anybody, and first class I had, go in, and it was one of the first days at school. We had the teacher had this guy come in. Never forget this guy's name, Mr. Doherty, and had long hair, had a guitar, sat in a stool in the front of the class, and played guitar. He played us a bunch of songs and stuff, and I was just like taken by this guy. He was like just ripping it up on the guitar, playing all kinds of songs, and I was just locked in. So ran home that day. Mom, I gotta get a guitar. I'm like, I need a guitar. And I told her all about this guy, Mr. Doherty. He offered he offered lessons and private lessons. So I was begging. I'm like, please. So my mom, being my mom, she goes to the swap meet and gets me a swap meet guitar. Pretty awesome swap meet guitar. And but it was steel string, and so it had Mr. Doherty come over and gave me some lessons. I learned my first full song, learned how to sing and play first full song in third grade. And I mean, I dabbled after a while. I kind of, being a kid, I was more into skateboarding, biking, BMX, surfing, all that kind of stuff. And all the friends were always out. So, I kind of dabbled with it a little bit. And, but, after that, it just kind of secured that passion for guitar. And later on, when I was late junior high school, I kind of got back into it and got my first electric guitar, started learning. And oddly enough, some of the first real kind of music that I was trying to play was, I was listening to a lot of Metallica, like Ride the Lightning was out at that time. And lot of my friends knew a lot of. I had a really good friend who knew a bunch of Iron Maiden, so he was teaching me some of that stuff, and I was just like, that was the first kind of music, some classic rock as well. That was kind of the first music I got into, and from then on, it just I haven't. My guitar's been around, always got my acoustic sitting right here next to me, and during the day when I'm working, because I'm currently at my workstation where I work, and I'll just pick it up throughout the day and play, just because it was that passion that stuck, and it was that one guy, Mr. Doherty. He's the one that did it. So
that's awesome.
but yeah, been playing ever since, and in bands and singing. Actually, mainly it was singing, but guitar has always been. That's how I write the songs. So
That's cool.
Very cool.
guess that's about it.
Here's another really important thing that we need to know, though, since you weren't able to make it on that show. We all had our
What
favorite
is that?
beers. We all had our favorite beers. That
Favorite
day.
beer.
So what would have your beer been on that show?
I have to say, at this point right now, Grolsch is kind of my go-to favorite beer, and
Wow.
it was a recent thing that a friend of mine turned me on to. I've had it many times throughout my life, and then I just got kind of turned on to it. Oddly enough, it goes really well with rye, so I'll have a Grolsch and a little bit of rye together. And I don't know why that combo, but yeah. But also very much into hazy IPAs and all that too. But and IPAs and all kinds of Kolsch. I had a Kolsch recently that just blew me away. It was really good. But yeah, I guess it's got to be that Pilsner right now, Grolsch, and only the flip top one, only the pop top with the ceramic top there.
So then you weren't surprised that it won our blind beer taste test, then, I suppose.
Right.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I thought Stella, but
Guys, do we have to talk about that? Like,
no, we don't. We really don't. We don't. We can just-
Blind beer taste test? Come on. No one cares. Who won?
And, well, speaking of beer,
Yes.
what's the first one we're gonna go with right now? 'Cause I'm ready.
Well, I was actually
It's
saving that
11:30. I'm ready to drink.
I know. I was actually saving that until we introduced Heavy Metal Beer Club. So I was going to let them talk, about each other and
Perfect.
give us a little history. But I figured we'd drink beer considering we have
Sure,
heavy
we can
metal
do that
beer.
and then
So
give the story.
yeah.
Mine's not too far off from Timmy's. I grew up in Long Beach, California, and that's where I got turned on to music and got into it. Some kid took in Kiss Alive in the 4th grade for show and tell, and I saw that album cover and loving sci-fi and horror, and I heard you wanted the best and you got it. And that was it. Oh yeah, that was it. And then we grew up during the whole time when Motley Crue was playing the clubs. Saw Wasp in the club. Saw Doc and Rat. The whole Sunset scene there in Hollywood, and also Orange County. The Orange County scene that was going on, because that's where Metallica played their first at a little club called Radio City. And so we were around for all that stuff, and that's how we got into it way
Very
back
cool.
then.
Very cool. So let's
Let's do it.
let's talk about the beer real quick, and then you guys all have the
Iron
which
Maiden.
one is this? The
The Trooper.
The black can?
With
Iron
the-
Maiden?
yeah, the black can.
Oh, the black can. Oh,
So I
let me
figure
go
we-
grab that.
I figured we could all try it together.
Oh,
Onward,
it don't
onward,
matter.
road.
So you guys are familiar with this beer? You know about it?
Yeah, we did a review on it. This friend of ours was really nice. Got us a gift pack. So it was it had Eddie's face on it, and it was in a big tin, and it came with a pint glass with the trooper. Eddie is the trooper on it. And yeah, it was So we've already done that.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about it since you've done
I'd
the review
probably
on it.
let her, because I like the strong beers. I like very harsh beers, and so for me, it was very mild. It was a mild beer, probably good sipper, but I know I'm not the majority, because I like harsh IPAs that are, like you're licking tree sap or barrel age. I like the barrel age, really strong, flavorful bourbon barrel aged beers. That's my thing. So on the milder side, I'll let her go with the description.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like them all. I like a nice Pilsner. You get in the mood. You don't want a big IPA or a big heavy dark, barrel aged beer, and then you want something, like a pilsner. It's refreshing and good. I like it a lot. So
Let's get the
Let's-
mic in front of her a little bit
Oh, yeah.
more.
oh,
You can turn it that way, and then
Yeah, it's.
it's
go.
adjustable. So
Let's give it a try, shall we?
yeah, let's do it.
you open it.
I like
Pop her
the
open.
fact that it doesn't just have the Iron Maiden name on it, but Bruce Dickinson actually helped create the beer.
Yeah,
It's extra cool.
yeah. I heard that they had a lot to do with the beers.
It's awesome.
Ooh, it's a nice color.
Yeah, it is.
It's something you would think you would get if you went to England to a pub. It's that style, pub style. Do you guys pour the whole thing? Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll do the whole thing.
You're gonna drink the whole thing. So.
Good point.
You can already tell it's got some nice maltiness to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah.
Kind of like Stella does, right, guys?
That's a nice color.
I thought we were dropping that.
Oh, yeah. Here's that.
This brings back memories of the UK. Spent
Right.
5 years there.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well, cheers, everybody.
Yeah,
Cheers.
cheers, all.
Cheers.
Let's try it.
Cheers.
guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm in a pub again.
Gentry, your mug. So
Ooh,
That
I
is
like
good. I love it.
That's really good.
that is a good
Definitely
beer.
got some malt to it. Yeah, that's great.
That gets 2 fingers up. We will take it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
See,
say
Way
so
to go,
too.
Bruce.
And there we go. I'm way on the other end. It's like I want extra distortion. I want it to go to 11. But I mean, it's nice. I mean, but the scent, it's just not anything that really stands out as far as aromas are concerned. It's kind of bready, which it's traditional.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. I think it's got a nice body.
It's
to
very
it.
refreshing. Very refreshing.
Well, you're in good company, Arthur, because
Yeah.
we do enjoy a good, heavy IPA. But it is nice to kind of switch it up every once in a while and just get something nice and crisp. And
Yeah.
especially when they balance it out with some nice malts in there. It's not just, yellow water. There's some legit beer there.
Yeah.
Yellow water.
It's okay to
Yeah,
listen to
what?
some Slayer, one day, and then all of a sudden listen to some Boston or some Journey.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
good with that.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, this is a beer you could drink several of.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
What is the alcohol content?
it's like
on
a
it?
It's a 4
4 point.
Oh, yeah, okay.
7, yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone taste
Teetering on this session beer scale, right? So
a subtle hint of lemon? You guys think?
Yeah, I do get a little
Yeah.
lemon.
Yeah. Per the
I
can.
guess I'll have to try that again.
Yeah,
For how malty it looks, you don't get a lot of maltiness in the flavor. It's surprisingly
No.
really, really smooth.
Yeah. No, it's in the finish. You can taste the
has a
malt.
nice bitterness to it. I like a
It does have a
bitter
little.
in my beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
A
Not
nice
too
color
bitter, just
too.
enough.
I
Yeah, the
I'll-
color's really
Yeah.
nice.
You're right, Jen. Some citrus.
I
there.
really love it. I think it's so good.
It's
This is right
very
up my
easy.
alley for a beer this style. I think this is perfect. I love it.
Yeah, it's good. Very tasty.
I've had this once before, like probably a couple years ago, and I like it now better.
Me too.
Yeah. I had it once,
Yeah.
and I don't remember liking it that much. It wasn't my thing, but this is
Yeah, because
fantastic.
we tried it the one time.
Yeah, it's funny how that'll happen sometimes. The first time we had, because of all of the hype behind Pliny the Elder, that IPA there in Northern California, and the first time we had it, we were like, that's okay, and then we had it again, and it was different for some reason.
That grows on you.
Oh yeah, yeah. it
Gotta
was
love that
great.
Pliny.
Yeah,
Right? No, this is very good.
And it's going to go down really fast.
Wait, that's what I'm saying. It's going to go real fast.
Easy drinking.
Well, thank God we had a lot of beers.
Speaking of that, Pliny, I wonder if that'll be the same for me on that 120-minute Dogfish Head IPA. So I kept
Yeah.
one
Oh, yeah.
bottle. I still because it says it ages well. So I do still have one bottle left from last year. I'm going to let it go another 6 months or a year. Then I'm going to try it again and see if I enjoyed it anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this was like the holy grail of literally the holy grail of beer. That's what they call it. And it was just disappointing to me. It wasn't hoppy. It was incredibly malty, but not hoppy. And that's not what I want in an IPA. I want bitter hops.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it 18% though? Is that what it
Yeah,
was?
yep, 18%.
18%.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it went down way too smooth.
Yeah. It wasn't bad.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. Had there not been hype, I would have loved the beer. But there was so much hype, and I'd waited years and years to finally get this beer. And it's just disappointing.
Well, yeah, it was kind of nice with the spices and stuff in it though. It made it
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah, Gentry, it's not one you can drink after mowing the lawn. That wouldn't work.
During the lawn mow.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But this one, though,
This one
you can drink after mowing the lawn.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
And during.
Mr. Pestilence just lights his lawn on fire, and that's how he.
Oh, man. That's funny. So I thought for this episode it'd be a lot of fun, especially since you guys are so into heavy metal. I'll speak for myself. I got into it a little bit growing up, but not as much as you guys did probably. But I kind of want to get everybody's take on what their experience is as far as heavy metal. Like, were you ever into it? Are you into it? What's just kind of get a little background from there. So, anybody want to jump in first?
Sure, I'll jump in.
There you go.
Tim and I heavy metal isn't my go-to. I mean, I'm known for being the '90s alternative guy, as Gentry and Tim are pretty much the same. But I enjoy good heavy metal. It's everything we're talking about: AC/DC, Iron Maiden, Slayer. I definitely lean more toward the Metallica side of metal, which of course then which version of Metallica? There's a lot of different versions. But growing up, that was my first introduction to metal, was Metallica. And I remember with each album coming out, just like how cool that was. Just an experience to listen to that album. Obviously, Black was just unbelievable. But even because I was still the 90s alternative guy, I wasn't the diehard Metallica guy. Even like when Load came out, everyone was pissed off. Metallica cut their hair, changed their sound. And I get it. If I was a diehard fan, I would have felt the exact same way. I loved it. I still remember the night I was just listening to that album, and it blew my mind. I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever heard up to that point. Now, funny, going back, I don't go back to Load. I'd much rather listen to Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets. And I just appreciate that Metallica more over the long haul. But anyway, so yeah, that's my quick version of metal. Absolute appreciation for the style of music and the talent that those guys have. It's just unbelievable. But anyway, so yeah, cheers to metal.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, okay, I'll drink that.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I like all of the Metallica that you were just talking about. I like all the different styles. It just depends what mood you're in,
Yeah.
So
Totally.
Yeah. For me, it's a weird thing because I love Load and Reload. And so my relationship with Metallica is strange. There was an album that came out in the early 80s called Metal Massacre, and it was a compilation put out by Metal Blade, and that is the first appearance of Metallica, and they have a song on there called Hit the Lights, and it is horrible. I mean, absolutely. It was so bad, but it's a demo. And so that was my first impression.
Okay.
So then when Kill 'Em All came out and people were raving, oh my gosh, Metallica, this is the greatest band. I had my first impression, and that lasted a long time. And I just could not stomach them until the Black Album.
Wow.
And then I started getting into them a little bit then. And then Load and Reload, I absolutely loved. I thought they were great. And then I went back. And I still have that album. I've got it put away. In fact, they just reissued that, but with the second version of Hit the Lights, the more polished version. But it doesn't have the original one I have on it.
Huh.
Interesting. I'll have to try to find that. Hit the Lights.
Yeah,
me
Hit
too.
the Lights.
I love that song.
Yeah, the original demo version, and Dave Mustaine's playing guitar on it. Yeah, no, it's really bad.
but the new version is awesome.
Yeah, no, the polished version's good, but that original one, yeah.
Because when did Dave Mustaine leave Metallica? I don't remember the year. It was in the 80s still, right? It was early on.
I mean, I'm probably misquoting. I want to say maybe 80, 83, 84 he might have been. Yeah, he was.
I thought so. It was really early.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And wasn't their original bass player from here?
Oh, from Downey. No, the original bass player was from Downey, California.
Cliff Burton.
Or did he live here, though?
No. You're
was that?
Jason Newsted.
Yeah, Jason
He's the
Newsted.
one that
Jason Newsted.
replaced Cliff Burton.
Oh, so he was the second.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was from here. So he was actually the third bass player. Was the guy that was from here?
So they've gone through a few bass players then.
Yeah.
Wait, so Cliff Burton wasn't even the first bass player?
No. Ron McGovney.
Yeah, Ron McGovney.
Yeah, that was the first bass player.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mustaine left in '83.
Yeah, was it 83? According to that? Yeah. That was close.
Yeah,
Close.
really close.
Close, but no cookie.
What about you, Gentry?
Oh man, I think my first exposure was Metallica, and it was probably the Black Album in high school. I made some new friends and thought I had to be metal, and got really into them. But it was more forced at the time. But then I grew to love them, and then just went back to the previous albums. Kill 'Em All was like, and it's strange now because I don't know about you guys, but listening to the Black Album and then listening to Kill 'Em All after, to me they sound like completely different bands, and James Hetfield doesn't even sound like himself, like much more energetic, much more thrash, and I tend to like that stuff more than Black, although you can't deny Black's great music, but I also remember like kind of almost where I was, like they took a lot of shit for making a music video for Enter Sandman. Did they not? I think Metallica sold out, and anyway. But other than that, like honestly, my roots are in the 60s and 70s, and like you can hear some of that heavy metal starting to come out, And I'm not even going to talk about the obvious ones like Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple, but before that, like I'm a huge fan of the Kinks, and kind of like if you don't think you really got me, it's like the Genesis.
That's the first time. Yeah, that's the first time we heard distortion on a guitar. Was You Really Got Me, and that was probably like 1968 when that came out.
Something like that, and and then I don't know if you've heard this, but maybe a lesser known idea of where it all came from is the Beatles, which I have to throw in there somewhere. Helter Skelter, Interestingly enough, I read an interview today because I was doing like some speed research for all this to sound smart. But, it's funny. Paul McCartney did an interview like in the 80s where John Lennon, well, then obviously in the 70s, but he gave an interview where he thought that the Beatles' first heavy metal song was actually Ticket to Ride.
Wow.
Which is interesting.
Wow.
But anyway, so I think that I got mentally prepared for liking heavy metal so much, just more from the earlier stuff that I was into at the time. But since then, I've really gotten into kind of all forms of metal. Because you got how many variants? Like I kind of like some new metal, speed metal, black metal, thrash metal. I mean, it's, again, like Jeff, it's not my go-to, but love it. Yeah, and you have to be in the right mood. Have you guys heard Infant Annihilator?
Yeah, no.
Pretty dark, but
no.
It's still sometimes. Yeah. Great name, by the way. Great name. So
coming from Pestilence.
Yeah.
That's pretty tame, actually, by my standards. But yeah,
you did spark a memory for me, Gentry, of my metal history. There is one album that my mom took away from me. Like, I grew up in a rock and roll household. We could do whatever we wanted, like music-wise, play guitar, all of that. It was celebrated. I came home with one album, and my mom flipped and literally made me get rid of it. And it was Paranoid, Black Sabbath, Paranoid.
Paranoid?
Yeah, it's like, are you kidding me, Mom? Like, come on. And my dad, he comes to his defense. He's like, Karen, I have the 45 in the basement. Like, the evil is already in the house. And she was like, you knock it off. You're not helping. And so, yeah, that was the one album I couldn't own, apparently. I could have Metallica and everything else, but not Black Sabbath.
I have to say,
my mom made me put my Motley Crue Shout at the Devil t-shirt in a paper bag, put it in the garage until trash day.
Oh, really?
I said, Mom, it's just my little black t-shirt.
Right.
I was just a kid. I'm like, come on.
With the pentagram on it.
Right.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was gone.
Awesome.
That's crazy. How about you, Timmy?
It's funny how people freak out about the whole. If you watch any kind of metal, it's the establishment, it's the government, all teachers, it's parents, everyone's freaking out about this metal music, and really it's like when you get down to the. I'm sorry to get into this before I even say anything, but you got everything that you're saying. It just kind of sparked that memory of like everyone's so against this devil music, and really it's an expression of angst and like the things things that were going on in our world and over time, just, and personal issues and all these things. It's an expression. And you're like, really? You're like,
Yeah, but there
it
was
just
a
blows
time.
my mind that everyone's so against that, a form of expression, an art form. Oh man. But I mean, that's plagued us through, everyone throughout the world for all time, pretty much.
Well, I was gonna say they did the same thing with Elvis. They said his music was devil music when
Oh,
it first
yeah,
came out.
yeah.
So
Don't shake them hips.
Yeah, they would
Don't
choke
move them
you.
hips in that way.
Yeah.
It's sexually suggestive. Our Puritan foundations for our country, shine every once in a while.
But what I love,
But
real
my
quick to that point, Tim.
Oh, sorry.
to cut you off.
Yeah.
One thing I love though is you talk to anyone who works a music venue and ask them what is the most polite crowd of music fans. They will always say metal. I've never heard any other answer.
Yeah.
Those guys are so damn respectful and cool, and it is the greatest fan base because they do, like, that is their outlet. You just listen to the music, you go nuts, you thrash, you get in the mosh pit, you do whatever it is, but you're super cool with each other. These are your brothers with you. These are your sisters. You respect each other. You respect the venue. You respect the employees. I love that. Obviously, you're always going to have some bad, actors in any group, but I just think that's so cool that I've consistently heard that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We just went on the Monsters of Rock cruise, and it's so much fun. So we're with all our people, and there's no problems. Arthur even talked to some security, and there's no problems at all.
Yeah, I was talking to security and asking them.
Everyone just having a nice time.
We noticed, I mean, you get that many people drinking that, something's bound to happen. And of course, his first thing was, well, how much did you pay to be on here? If you got into trouble, would you want to be locked in there?
Yeah, exactly.
But, alcohol, you put alcohol in the mix, and some of the people on the boat have a lot of money, so it doesn't matter to them to hang out in the room for a couple of days for acting up.
Right.
But, yeah, there weren't any issues. You didn't see any problems.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's so funny when, well, I mean, and I don't know what you guys think about Cannibal Corpse, but I tend to kind of really like them sometimes. And, you think that they're just with their lyrics and things, come on. But, when you hear them talk and speak, I mean, they are the most down-to-earth, gentlemen, well-spoken, smart people who say, we don't live like that.
Yeah.
Oh, just like King Diamond. He's one of the nicest guys.
Oh,
if you hear him talk,
If
you
you ever
never
hear
think.
interviews of him, just really nice.
Yeah. Lamb of God, another great example. Such good guys. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah.
And so that's
Randy
just
Blythe.
what it's saying.
Yeah.
It's just an art form. It's just expression.
Right.
I have a cousin in California in a band called Ninja Gandhi, and you would hear them sing, and they're heavy, and they're the nicest guys you could ever. We've hosted them all sleep in our house when they're traveling, and it's awesome.
When they're touring around, they'll crash out at our place.
That's cool.
They're so respectful. At night, I put out some chips and beers in the fridge, and in the morning,
everything's all nice and neat. Yeah,
you guys can come back.
Yeah.
How do you? What's the name of the band?
Ninja Gandhi.
Yeah.
Ninja Gandhi.
That's a cool name,
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
I like that name.
And then
they're cool.
He's in another. Well, he was another band called Railgun. These are both Orange County bands. Tim, you'll know that area. And
the guitar player was also in Leatherwolf.
Yeah, which was an '80s band. Well, the singer from Ninja Gandhi is also now singing for Leatherwolf. Yeah, they're recording a new album. Yeah.
Huh.
And this guy very
Empire?
unassuming.
Yeah.
Is that the album Wax Empire from Ninja Gandhi?
I don't even know the name of the album. Probably.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, you meet them the first time we met them. My cousin introduced us to the band, and they're all, "Hi, how are you doing? How are you doing?" He's
the
wearing
drummer
his
Paul
glasses
is her
Next
cousin.
thing, he's on his knees and backwards and singing in this
just
voice.
belting out this voice coming out of this. I mean, not very tall guy, just like Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah.
Just amazing voice. Yeah.
I can do that too. I just don't want to.
You save it for the shower, Gentry.
Yeah, I'm amazing.
But now, how you guys were saying, Jeff, that you guys came up with more of the '90s bands, but a lot of people will say the ground zero for heavy metal, they'll just consider it to be Black Sabbath. And I mean, who sounds more like Black Sabbath, Alice in Chains and Soundgarden, or a band like Warrant and Poison? Yeah. I mean, truly, the early '90s bands were heavy. They sounded great.
True. What is the song, Jeff? Help me remember. Alice in Chains. Da, da, da. I can't remember. It is
Dirt
heavy
or
metal.
wood?
No, not one of those. I'll have to think of it. But man,
Rooster down in a hole.
nope. Grind.
Grind is rocking. Yeah, that's a really good song.
If that's not heavy metal,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it grooves. It's got a good
Oh,
groove to that song too.
totally.
oh man.
And that's, I haven't been able to get into the history of my experience with it yet. But part of that, I was gonna say that, this is all the foundation is blues based. And so you hear that throughout and the different iterations throughout time until it starts getting into, you start getting into like the new metal kind of stuff. And then you lose that blues foundation at some point, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you hear it. I mean, it's just so significant in those early days and throughout, into the 90s when it started to influence other bands like alternative bands and things like that. These guys grew up on this stuff too. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
how do you escape it?
That's a good point, Tim. And do you guys know the story of Robert Johnson? He was like one of the obviously. And you got to think that part of heavy metal mystique was taken from Robert Johnson selling his soul to the devil. And absolutely, Tim. I mean, come on, heavy metal's got its roots in blues, like going way back. But
right
I
there,
don't know, that's how metal kind of started to co-opt the darkness.
that would be a good topic sometime. Also, is because Robert Johnson, the 27 Club, of all those artists who have died at the age of 27, Robert Johnson being one of them. That's a real interesting story.
That would be,
Yeah.
That'd be a good topic.
Just because we're talking heavy metal and my name is Pestilence right now. I turned 27 and thought, am I going to die this year?
You're a good player. That was a legit concern.
It was,
Yeah, I wasn't good enough, so it's like 27. I'm fine. I'm no taking this one.
I had legitimate concerns.
But it's true. All the influences with that, like we were talking about Lemmy from Motorhead, which Lemmy would say, we play rock and roll. We're not a metal band. But,
Right.
I mean, that was definitely an influence for speed metal. But one of Lemmy's favorites was Little Richard. I mean, he loved Little Richard.
Damn.
So that's
Gene
really
Simmons
interesting.
loves Chuck Berry, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Gene Simmons loves.
Yeah.
All those guys love a lot of those early
guys,
blues. I mean, same thing with Zeppelin. All the people they listened to, all those early blues players.
We love it all. We really do. We love all of it.
Look at the way that Chuck Berry's vocals are delivered.
Yeah.
You look at, and there are only certain vocalists that emulate that kind, or they try to emulate that. And that you see that in metal too. Like, the forcefulness that comes out.
Yeah.
That was groundbreaking at the time. It was different than anything else.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Guitar Hero right there. I mean, one of the first Guitar Heroes, Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. We probably wouldn't have had Eddie Van Halen without, or even Hendrix, for that matter.
Yeah.
So what was your first exposure, Tim, to heavy metal?
So I had an older brother. He's 5 years older than me, or I have, and also a cousin who was around the same age at the time. Early on I was born in 75 in Long Beach, but then we moved to Lakewood, and I had a cousin live there as well. So when we were little, and I was very, very young, this is probably 78, 79, some of my earliest memories of music. And the reason why is because my cousin used to come over, and he was really into music, and he was really into like rock. And he brought over the AC/DC album when he first got it, I guess. And my first exposure was like Back in Black. And, I heard these songs as a child and didn't even know what the hell it was. And I saw the album, and I was taken by the album covers because the artwork, it was always fantastic with, these albums. It used to be really a major part of the album. The artwork is something that kind of it's a marketing, strategy. It's supposed to draw you in and go, wow, what is this? And even if it's simple, but the, just seeing this something that I've never seen before, and then hearing the magic that came out of that record, I was like, what? It struck me, and I have distinct memories of sitting there with my cousin, my brother, listening to this music going, what, mind blowing. What is this stuff? You know, because my mom would like clean the house and go shoo us outside, get outside. She'd like lock the screen door and blast Motown, you know?
Yeah.
And we'd be like, what if we're thirsty? And she's like, there's a freaking hose right there.
Still the best water,
So-
by the way.
Right?
Oh, man.
I grew up on hose water, man, and you know, playing army men in the dirt. But she would literally lock the screen door and go, "Don't come in, I'm cleaning," and she would blast this Motown and stuff like that. That, you know, in Chicago, and you know, different kind of music that was happening in the late '70s, mid to late '70s. I mean, Rod Stewart, I can't get out of my head because she freaking loved that guy. I always played Rod Stewart. I'm like, but you know. And then the next album that he brought over was the Queen album,
Oh yeah.
the freaking robot.
Yeah, News
That
of the
was
World.
my next memory, Music for the World. Or yeah, and it just like that also blew my mind. So I was at a very young age, I was exposed to a lot of different types of music, and you know, at the same time, hearing on the radio, you know, Clash, Rock the Casbah was out. Those kinds of songs, I have really distinct memories of that time. And I think that helped to kind of give me a foundation and form my journey through music, you know, and life. Music's always been a part of my life because of that. I think because of that early exposure to just a very eclectic, broad range of music. And metal was a big part of that too. And I followed metal as well as other, you know, different genres and different types of music throughout. So it's kind of interesting because those were my earliest memories of childhood, hearing these amazing sounds come out of this record from these bands that I don't know who they are, but holy crap, you know, it blew my mind, and it continues to this day. That's why the love for music is so strong.
I identify 100%.
Yeah, and we're from the same area, Timmy. My backyard was Lakewood. My front yard was Long Beach. You know,
I'm from
Bellflower was up
Westminster.
the
So crazy.
street. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
from
So we're
Westminster,
from the
So
same
crazy.
area.
Cool. Yeah.
We grew up listening probably
That's
to
cool.
KNAC and KLOS and KMET.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure, for
KNAC.
sure.
I love Long
Uh-huh.
Beach. Long Beach is every time I go back to LA, that's always where I go. Is Long Beach. It's so much fun over there. I love it over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And back then, you remember when you're young, the local record stores?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so in
Oh, yeah.
Cerritos, there was a record store in Cerritos called Best Records. And the guy I used to buy all my albums from, Iron Maiden, I remember buying the Kiss solo albums from him. We're still buddies. He lives in Texas.
That's
now.
really
That's
cool.
cool.
Yeah, we're
That's
still in
cool.
touch.
Hi, Larry.
Super awesome.
Yeah, Larry, it's our buddy Larry, and he used to sing for a rock band called the Little Boots, and they used to play the whole Hollywood thing. And
Oh,
but
cool.
he's a huge Bowie fan. I mean, he's got
Oh,
pictures
okay.
of
Oh,
him
yeah.
and Bowie and
Gotta love
all
Bowie.
the other original members from Spiders from Mars. Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool.
How about you,
A
Joey?
whole episode on Bowie next time.
Right?
I'm just going to show my age is all, you know, because I mean, being a child of the 60s and, you know, 70s when I graduated year you were born basically there, Tim. So, but, you know, music was music to me. I mean, I don't know, at some point when I took my hiatus from my rock roots and played country for 20 years, you know, is when there became a genre called metal, I think, because, you know, growing up, I mean, Black Sabbath, I think that was probably one of the first, you know, bands that I learned a really heavy guitar riff, which I thought was heavy at the time, and that was Iron Man, you know. I learned that, and so I just loved that stuff. I mean, it was Grand Funk Railroad, you know, growing up playing their stuff, and you guys will find this really funny. I mean, especially Jeff and Gentry, since they're familiar with the Utah thing. You know, my senior year, our drummer, he had gotten tickets to see Kiss, and he's going to take his girlfriend. Well, Kiss was a big taboo for a lot of families in Salt Lake. And so he called me up and says, man, my girlfriend, her parents won't let her go to the show, but I've got this ticket. And I said, okay, I'll go. And so I believe it was the same tour that they did Kiss Alive, you know. So that was my first real experience with Kiss.
Where were they playing at? What venue was that?
It was at the Salt Palace.
All right, makes sense. Right on.
You know. And so I fell in love with Kiss at the time, you know. So that's when I went and got that album, and then I bought Rock and Roll Overture and all those that, you know, came out. And so I had graduated from high school. The band I was playing with, we decided, okay, let's learn some Kiss songs, you know. And so we did Calling Dr. Love and Rock and Roll All Night and stuff. And we were asked to play at the next year's homecoming assembly, you know. And so we thought, oh, let's come out and we'll do a Kiss thing, right, you know. So we didn't do paint and all that, but we cut out basically crepe paper, you know, things to put on our faces, because we weren't going to do the whole Kiss thing, the whole show. We're just going to do those couple of songs.
You're lost.
And, huh?
Should have done
yeah. Well, yeah, no, we weren't that committed. So, but this is the best part. So we come out, and you didn't go to Kearns High, but Kearns, I don't know about your high schools, but we had the orchestra pit, so you know it rose, and that's where we were set up. So we started playing. Calling Dr. Love as the stage started rising up, you know? And as soon as we're up there, and kids could see that we had on our, you know, wasn't makeup, but our faux Kiss look.
Faux faces?
Half the auditorium got up and left.
What?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was started by, of course, the seminary presidency, you know, those guys, they got up and they walked out. I go,
They thought it was evil.
We introduced the devil to
They're
our
like,
high school.
nope.
So, yeah, that's crazy. But, you know, like I said, I don't know where metal really got the moniker of being metal, but sometime while I was playing country. And so my first experience, I guess would be through my son Jay, who's, you know, basically these guys' age. And, you know, he'd gotten some Metallica and all that, so I'd heard him playing those sounds from his room, and of course I had to have a talk with him. You know, this is the devil's stuff.
Yeah, you need to turn it up, son.
Yeah.
Can you teach
But
me
I liked
something?
it. So I think the first Metallica that we bought was the I don't remember the name of it. It had to do with the garage, the one where they did
Garage Inc.
Oh, Garage Days?
Yeah.
Garage Days Revisited?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Turn the Page and stuff was on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool.
Which wasn't
Did a
that
great
a
job on that.
not a Johnny Cash song?
Bob Seger.
Bob Seger.
Yeah, Bob
Bob
Seger.
Seger, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I really like Metallica. In fact, I gained a lot of respect for them from watching a live video a live show they did somewhere in Europe. I think it was in Germany or one of those, you know, areas. But it started to pour. I mean, rain was just coming down, and they were not fazed one bit by it. You know, Lars was back there, and you just see water
we saw that.
flying off of the drums, and
Yeah.
you know, I
was
thought,
awesome.
man, these guys are
Nice.
dedicated to their fans. You know,
Yeah.
and then the fans, they didn't even budge either, and it was just pouring. I thought,
I saw that.
I think I've seen that on YouTube. I think I've seen that.
I think it was Germany or something.
Yeah, I think it was
is.
Germany.
Yeah, we saw that.
So, but yeah. So
That's metal.
That is metal. You just keep going.
That's cool. That is dedication for sure.
yeah.
Electrical and water, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna happen. That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I will say, I mean, but metal's not a go-to for me. I'm still, you know, get into the Steely Dan and all that stuff. But,
yeah.
That
you
was
know,
just great stuff. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I go to, but
We can-
I won't turn it off if I hear a metal song. You know, I love
Metal,
the power.
You same thing.
Yeah. No, there's just something in the power that comes through that's just like, it feels good,
Mm-hmm.
So,
Sometimes it's just good to rock out, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, it also depends on the time of day. Quite often on the Amazon, I don't want to say the other A word because then all of a
Might
sudden
go
everybody's are gonna, what can I play
yeah,
for you?
yeah, exactly.
But so we'll call out on the Echo.
Yeah.
We'll call out some Steely Dan or some Fleetwood Mac and
All the
stuff.
time.
I mean, my
Eagles.
go-to is either Judas Priest or Kiss. That's what I usually call out. But other times, we have different moods and we'll call out different genres of music.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
country too. He doesn't care for country so much.
Individual artists.
he
I
likes
do
fun.
like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it too. So I love it all.
I think it does depend on the time of day because when I'm driving in the morning to work, I'll listen to classical.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love that too.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have my day that I have at work, and I'm driving home listening to Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah. And I can go from one to the other like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
be listening to classical and switch the channel, and there's Megadeth or something. And you're like,
Yeah, but I mean, even classical's got a big influence on metal as
Oh,
well.
sure.
I mean,
Oh,
listen
yeah.
to Yngwie Malmsteen's guitar playing, or
Thank you.
Uli John Roth. Yeah.
You look at the arrangements, and
Yeah.
a lot of people don't understand the technical, the work that goes into creating these arrangements that sound so
Yeah.
great to your ears.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, most definitely.
Arthur's a huge Michael Schenker fan too.
Oh yeah, and he's definitely a
UFO and-
classically influenced guitar player as well. Just very precise, clean playing guitarist.
Well, I mean, all music came from classical, right? I mean, if you think about it.
Yeah.
it
Bottom
all
line,
stemmed from that.
That's-
Yeah. I mean, that was,
That was it then.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, go ahead.
I was going to say, Gentry told me that the Beatles influenced classical music.
Yeah.
Time travel.
That was Pestilence talking.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. That was 10,000 years ago. I was there.
I think it also depends, I mean, for me growing up playing piano, I think that's why I never got into heavy metal, because it was not, for a piano player in a band, especially back then in the 80s, it wasn't much for a piano player to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that's why I didn't, I mean, there was things I listened to. I listened to AC/DC, I listened to Kiss, there were some bands that I listened to, and I enjoy that music still
Yeah.
today. But, one of the things we talked about on our last episode was, we were talking specifically about rock and roll and how it's changed over the years. Do you guys see the same thing with heavy metal? I mean, is it changed for the better or the worse, in your guys' opinion?
Oh gosh,
What do you think?
I wouldn't say better or worse, just different.
Yeah.
And there's just other bands. I mean, because it's just branched off into. There's just so many different fingers now of different styles of different genres of metal itself. Some of the bands that we saw on the boat were young kids, and there were some that sounded. There was a band from Spain called Stop Stop, and they were just the fun, campy lyrics, kind of like Poison, sort of, just very upbeat. And then you had some bands out, I mean, were very, wouldn't you say, even classically influenced.
Yeah.
Were, kind of like the Dream Theater thing with a lot of synthesizer that were just really good. So it's just, different. And then there's even some of the harder rock bands, newer, harder rock bands. Well, they've been out for a while now. From Long Beach, Rival Sons. Just
gosh,
very
yeah.
bluesy. That singer is just
J. Buchanan.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, very different. There's Greta Van Fleet, if you've ever heard them.
I've heard of Greta Van
They
Fleet.
get a lot of criticism.
Dirty Honey.
Oh yeah, Dirty Honey. They're an LA band, but very Zeppelin sounding,
Yeah.
like Greta Van Fleet. They get criticized for sounding like Zeppelin, but I mean, if I could sound like be in a band that sounded like Zeppelin, I would. I mean, no doubt about that.
Well, Gentry said
Right?
that last time. That wasn't such a bad thing.
Yeah.
That they sounded like that.
That's right. Yeah, I did hear
Yeah.
you say that. It
Yeah.
wasn't the last episode, but the one before that. Yeah, we watched that.
Yeah. And they'll tell you they had never heard of Led Zeppelin before. They
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if I
I
buy
don't know.
that one, but
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, but what's
Isn't-
wrong with sounding like Zeppelin?
yeah.
Great question, Keith, because we were talking about rap last time, and I can respect, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Eminem, what they do. Basically, those guys, there is a talent to what they do.
Right.
But what rap has become is this mumble rap bullshit that is like guys who can't really do what Eminem does, but they just pretend like they do, so they just mumble it. And I don't know, that's my outsider's perspective. But it's a great question where I'm not like deep into the heavy metal scene. It makes me wonder, are there kids today trying to play metal, but they can't really technically do it, so they just play this lazy pseudo version of metal? It doesn't sound like that's the case. It sounds like
No, I don't think so.
The new generation is keeping true to the technicality of what metal is.
Yeah.
And that's a better way to put it. I guess I should have worded it that way, because that's kind of where I was going. Your point is we talked about how music today, it's not going to be like it was back in the 60s and 70s ever again, you know. But metal, like you said, if they're trying to stay true to their roots as much as possible, and people are coming out sounding good without all the extra effects and everything else on it, you know. So
But I mean, it's gone into so many different directions. And being a keyboard player, I mean, listen to like 9 Inch Nails or some Ministry that has a lot of keyboards in it. A lot of the stuff that I think is guitar is distorted synth, and it just sounds amazing. I love a lot of the 90s industrial stuff, and even newer. There's a one out of Long Beach. I keep going back to Long Beach, called Julian K. And they branched off from a band called Orgy from the 90s, which they did a cover of Blue Monday. That was their radio hit, was a cover of Blue Monday, but now they've become Julian K. And it's industrial. It's got all kinds of keyboards in it, and they're fantastic.
So now you're bringing up a good point, though. It's, I guess, what from the experts that we have on staff here, where do we draw the line of metal? We keep talking about this of like, because so Marilyn Manson, 9 Inch Nails, or like especially those two, Marilyn Manson, 9 Inch Nails, even as a good little Mormon boy, I loved that music. I thought Marilyn Manson was the coolest, most provocative artist I'd seen in such a long time. I love that he was different and just shocking people, but I don't consider that metal.
Right.
If we call that metal, then there's my metal right there.
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson and 9 Inch Nails. But I don't know. What do you guys? Where do you draw the line?
I would
what's
say
heavy metal and what's not?
Well,
Megadeth, Judas Priest.
Well, I don't know. It's all a matter of
Judas
perspective,
Priest.
because if you ask purists, they'll say, "Well, Kiss isn't metal." But there's some songs by Kiss you'll listen to and go, "Yeah, that's pretty metal." I Love It Loud and War Machine. So I think it's all just a matter of perspective. But then they had songs people would say were disco, like "I Was Made for Loving You." So I mean, it's really even sometimes you can call it a look. I mean, Judas Priest was the first band to embrace the name in 1978. They had a album called Hellbent for Leather. In Europe, it was called Killing Machine, but in here it was called Hellbent for Leather, and that's when they came out with the studs and the spikes and that look, and the 2 guitar attack, bass drums, and screaming vocals, and really that was the first band to say, yes, we are a metal band. And then you had the new wave of British heavy metal with Saxon and Iron Maiden, and even though Def Leppard didn't embrace the name, but they came out during that whole time, and Tigers of Pantang. So maybe we could even just say 1978 Judas Priest, Hellbent for Leather. That could be the ground zero, because Sabbath was more blues based, truly, and they didn't have that look of all the spikes and leather on stage.
But they brought the dark sound.
They brought the dark sound because of Tony Iommi's, he's a lefty player, but finger incident, and he had a detune. Yeah, and very so, cool. But even Kiss, early Kiss, I mean, they were wearing the studs and the leather. Alice Cooper was wearing the studs and the leather, early, and some of those songs were pretty heavy sounding.
Which is interesting, because I grew up in New York, and, maybe it's different on the East Coast, but bands like Kiss, bands like AC/DC, all those groups like Guns N' Roses, that was considered hard rock. It wasn't considered heavy metal. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until I guess I was in high school and learned about Metallica that I think that's where heavy metal first started being thrown around. But up till then, for us, it was always just called hard rock. So
I think there's a fine line. Yeah, it's a fine line between it all, really.
The interesting thing that I heard was in looking at the names and how the conventions that people categorize. Humans, we like to categorize things, but the simple fact is most of these artists didn't even identify. They didn't even know what metal was, like heavy metal. They didn't even know, and it was a journalist who coined the term heavy metal, and so that all of a sudden became the label that was put on all of this music. And most of these artists are going to go, heavy metal, we're hard rock. and
Yeah.
that's the thing that's really interesting. You throw around all these labels, and that's what's confusing. It eventually becomes confusing. How, like Jeff's saying, how do you categorize? Where do you fit these different? Because humans want to fit things into categories. Sorry, I'm anthropologist by trade, so
It's funny though,
I go into that. But
because to the nature of my question, I want a category, and I love your guys' answer, Arthur and Andrea. Is who cares? Like, you're the metal experts on this show, but you're not so caught up in the purity of what we call each category. Just enjoy it. Is it good music? Then just listen to it. Who the hell cares what we call it? But it is funny that like I naturally, you even call it industrial. That's what Nine Inch Nails is.
Yeah.
Sure. Do we want to put it as a subgenre that was inspired by metal? Sure. But it is funny, man. You totally called it out. It's like I'm playing this little like bucket game without even realizing it.
And even Ministry, you listen to the first Ministry album, and it is it sounds like it's 80s synth pop. It sounds like early Depeche Mode, and Al Jorgensen hates that first album. I don't think he wants any mention of that, but the influences come elsewhere, like with Nine Inch Nails. I mean, that was Trent Reznor's influences, was the early synth pop stuff.
Then you have to
the
mention
80s.
Gary Newman.
Oh yeah, and Gary Newman with
course.
Cars. Oh my gosh, if you listen to his stuff now, it's just
it's
amazing. Yeah, you see him live, and he's got guitars out there.
We saw him at our Rialto Theater. There
In
were
Tucson?
not many people there. You could stand as close as you want.
And he was bringing it.
He
You would
never
think he
moved.
was in front of a stadium crowd the way they brought the show on.
I told him, I think out of all the concerts I've seen in my life, that was the most intense I've ever seen. We couldn't even move.
Wow.
We
Yeah,
stood
he was
there like,
amazing live.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I love that he did that with not a full house. Like,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. But it was heavy, distorted guitars. I mean, when they did the new version of Cars, it was just. You could mosh. You could mosh to it.
Really?
Yeah. I tried to get Andrea to, you're going to take off shirts and mosh, but she wouldn't.
yeah. That's why I said, let's take off our shirts and mosh.
I was going to say, for me, and I want to see what you guys think, though. Heavy metal, what I consider heavy metal is where the guitar started to be detuned and a lot, 7 strings came in and you get that really low. It's the only way you can get that really low chunk, kind of a sound. And that, to me, is
But that came in
how
on
I
the
define.
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
how
where
I
it
define
gets
the heavy metal. So
It becomes that.
That came in on the 90s, though, with Korn.
Yeah.
Was, playing the 7-string guitars and also detuning as well. Yeah. But, you know what, though? Eddie Van Halen was, he invented that thing, the
detuner.
Yeah. So he was playing drop D as well. Yeah. In fact, it's funny because every time I hear drop D now, I think of a beer. There's Hard Bottle Brewing in Tucson.
Drop
they
two.
they have a detune. Yeah. Or
Drop
is it
two.
drop D?
Nice.
No, it's drop D.
we'll have to try that.
Yeah. It's a really good beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember
In
this.
fact, he's very metal influenced. We did an interview on our show of the brewer owner, and he's definitely metal roots with that guy. He's
Mike.
Mike has got an Iron Maiden poster in his brew room, and he even had a beer called the Nigel Tufnell from
Yeah.
Spinal Tap, one of the characters. Yeah.
Great movie.
Tucson.
So AC/DC.
Yeah, so I used to play in a country band called the County Lineup, and we played out at Riata Pass Steakhouse. It's been now it's Troon. It's all disappeared up there, but
That would be
we were
fun.
playing one Sunday night, and Alice Cooper and his wife and kids came in.
Oh, cool.
And so I go, gosh, should I
That's
break
cool.
it and start playing Schools Out, or but I thought better of it.
That's so cool. He seems like such a
He's
nice
a really
man.
cool guy.
It's not very metal to also be a really good golfer, though, too.
He golfs more than he plays music. So.
I'm gonna
So
try this again.
Calicat Brewing.
Yeah, he does golf a lot now.
Are they up north?
You know what? I don't know.
Because I tried. They have one called Tiki Time.
Uh-huh.
There's a really good beer too.
Sounds like something from Disneyland.
From Tiki Time.
At the tiki
Yeah,
tiki
the tiki
time.
room.
So do you guys have this one ready to go?
Guys,
All right.
I did not receive that one.
You didn't get them yet?
No.
Are you
No.
joking or are you serious?
No,
I
I'm
think
serious.
it's supposed to be delivered
Oh
tomorrow.
my God.
Oh, is it really?
Tomorrow?
yours-
No,
It's
she
downside of
sent.
living-
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she sent him.
Yeah, I sent these.
You,
Yeah.
yeah,
They never
totally.
made it?
No, it hasn't made it yet.
Oh my.
Huh,
I can't
that's
believe
surprising.
it, Gentry.
I know.
Yeah,
Very
his was.
unfortunate.
Because the devil went down to Georgia and stole all your beer.
Stole all your beer.
Oh man.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
He's a good friend of
I-
mine. I don't know why he would do that.
I will follow. I'm going to follow up on that one.
Yeah.
I do want to thank you, Heavy Metal Beer Club, for sending this beer. I think that was really cool. You and I have some local beers here, and now that I know you like IPAs, I'll do a mixture of some and some good IPAs from some
We'd
local
love that.
breweries around here.
Wow. Thanks. Thank you so much.
You like some
Yeah.
guitar pedals?
Gentry
Yeah,
will
some
send you a
guitar
couple
pedal.
favorites to make up for it.
Oh, no, you guys are awesome. Thank you.
But
Well,
he'll
we got to track it down.
He'll still get to
also.
enjoy them though once he gets
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited. But this is what I'll be drinking instead. So is that going to focus or not?
Doesn't look like it.
There. Well, it
can't
starts.
see.
Yeah, there.
What's it called?
Yeah. East Coast. What does that say? Transplant. East Coast Transplant. It's a
Oh, there you go.
it's a double dry hopped. It says Vermont style IPA.
Wow. Interesting.
New England,
Ooh.
Vermont.
New England, right?
Yeah.
That's
So-
what they called me when I first moved out to California. Was an East Coast transplant.
There you go.
We have a pizza place in Tucson called Detroit Transplant, and
Transplant?
it's Detroit pizza. It is
Nice.
so
Yeah,
good.
it's really good.
Yes.
Some-
And they have a tap room connected to it called Craft.
Really?
Yes. So they have a lot of beers
Ooh,
there
I
too.
can smell the aroma from
Yes, you
here.
That
That's
is a
nice.
good smelling hazy
Yeah.
and a beautiful looking beer.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it
Gentry,
is.
look, Arthur took mine away since I didn't get yours. To you.
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah, you can. Oh
That
yeah,
stinks.
you can smell it there. The citrus, the grapefruit.
oh man. You'll have
Now
to,
these are ones you guys haven't tried, or you
Right,
have?
we have not
haven't-
tried
Yeah,
it.
we have not tried it yet.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, and I like the alcohol content.
I know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What is
Ooh,
it?
it
What is
smells
it?
good.
Well, how about cheers to the Heavy Metal Beer Club?
Yes.
Oh,
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Yeah, thanks,
guys.
guys.
Mm.
Oh, that's nice.
Six
That's an
point
interesting
six
flavor.
6% alcohol for sure.
Yeah,
That's
That's
good.
tasty.
Yeah, they did a good job.
that is nice.
You can really smell the grapefruit in there,
Yeah.
or I mean,
Yeah.
taste the grapefruit.
Yep. And it's got a bitterness at the end, right at the end.
Yeah,
Right,
I'm even
yeah.
getting a little bit of apricot as well, just like a hint.
Yep.
Maybe a little
Yeah.
pineapple too.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb though.
Pineapple.
Was the first one we had was more bitter than this one? Was it not?
in a different way.
No.
Yeah. No, you don't think so?
It did have a
I
bit of
didn't think
bitterness,
so.
a little bit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think this one. To
Yeah.
me,
but it
Well,
doesn't have
maybe-
the. It didn't have the
As
bite.
far as the
IPAs
finish
kinda
on
have
the
a
other
bite.
one.
yeah.
This
Yeah.
has that grapefruit. When you
Yeah.
eat grapefruit or drink grapefruit juice, you
Yep.
get that bitter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it shows the IBUs,
I like it.
the international
I didn't
bitter
see it.
units. Yeah, I didn't
I didn't
notice
see
it
it.
Here's
either.
what hops they're using too, because it's usually like
Yeah.
the El Dorado or I think El Dorado is really what gives you some grapefruit. I could be mistaken.
Google is your friend.
Yeah, I'm not good about knowing
Yeah,
which
I'm not
hop is
good.
which
I'm not
flavor.
good, Jeff, with the hops and stuff either. Yeah, I know the four main
So if you look
ingredients, and that's where I end.
If you look at the can, it says, read about the collaboration at calicraft.com/ACDC. So we could learn a little
man.
more about this there.
We
Yeah,
didn't
that'd
do
be
our
cool.
homework, Arthur.
Yeah, no, we didn't. On this.
I was going to ask a
Sorry to call
really
you out.
stupid question,
What's
but I
that?
figured it out. So where's this
Oh,
brewed
it
at?
says knuckle bones.
Where's Calicraft? Is that in Wyoming?
No, you know what, guys? It does say the two breweries were
Oh yeah,
Calicraft
with
and Knuckle Bones.
Knuckle Bones Calicraft
Knuckle Bones.
collaboration.
Yeah.
Knuckle
Yeah,
Bones.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
We don't want to leave out Knuckle Bones.
yeah.
We might go there one day.
Plus, they may sue us if they see our episode.
Be a little bitter towards us.
Yeah. And something I love also about a lot of craft beers is the artwork. Just like with albums,
Oh, yeah.
with album covers, how, you'd look at the artwork
Yeah.
and check it out, and it was just always
yeah.
kind of fun to read. That's the same thing with the artwork on a lot of the beers. It's just fun to check out.
Definitely.
Really cool.
Yeah.
When Gentry and Tim and I have talked recently about beer cans that just throw a label on like this. I love that. Like that is almost
It's
the
cool.
sign of a better beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's
It's
not
true
like some
craft.
big mass-produced AB
Yeah.
InBev garbage.
It's small batch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
it when I see that label.
Yeah. We see them
Yep.
when we go to Harbottle or one of our local breweries, and they got the roller going, and the girls making them right there.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And there's a company in San Pedro, California called Brewery West, and their cutouts, it's really neat because there'll be cutouts within the can.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It looks really
Oh,
neat. So
cool.
it's even almost textured. It's almost 3D. You
That's
can
cool.
touch it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really neat.
I think that's you hit. I think we talked about it last time too. One of the points of how music has changed over the years, I think in a negative way, is part of that experience when you were a kid for a new album coming out was the joy of going to a record store and looking at all the different albums and
Yeah.
picking them out. Now what do? You Google it or go on iTunes and there it is right there. The fun of it was skimming through all those records
Oh,
and picking the
yeah.
one you wanted. and-
Talking to
Yep.
the people at the record store.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
especially, Jeff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'd
The
always get
community.
some Diamond Dave.
Yeah, the community behind it for sure. And then even reading who produced it, who guest
Totally.
played on it, the engineers. I mean, you would know
Right.
all that stuff.
Right.
And now I couldn't tell you. And I loved Disturbed, 90s band, hard rock band. I think Jeff, didn't you say you weren't a big fan of theirs? Or somebody was saying on one of the last
It was
shows.
because I mentioned the remake of the Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh
too.
yeah. Like, no, I mean, and it's they do play with a track on stage, the backing.
That's
syncopated beats.
I was talking
Weird-
about because I've been to a couple of their shows. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you're
but I
basically
mean,
listening to a CD.
but I like it. But
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you anything about who played on it. Even some of the titles of the songs, I don't know because
Right.
Yeah.
I don't sit there and look at the CD so much. Where with an album, I would read it. Although age and my eyes, I gotta hold it way out here now.
On the readers.
Yeah, one of the big joys as a kid, as a teenager, when I bought Alice Cooper's "School's Out"
Yeah.
album, I opened it up and the album was wrapped in a pair of girls' panties.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah,
Oh
Yeah, yeah,
I
and there was
didn't know that.
and they did a concert. In fact, it was Elton John. Elton John talks about that. They played, it was one of the famous theaters of the Greek Theater in Hollywood. And at the end of the show, they had a helicopter flying over, dropping panties on everybody. And Elton John talks about that. Yeah,
Yeah, but Elton John had boys' panties.
Yeah, boy.
Haynes.
You had some Hanes dropping.
He had a banana hammock.
You make a really good point, though. I just kind of wanted to address something that I've noticed over time, and it really has to do with what you both illustrated was this hands-on experience that we all had growing up with music. Touching a physical album, a record that had grooves in it. The information that was in that you opened, it was like a treasure. My record, then the sleeve, and you had all the artwork and all the information on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of young people are missing these days with the advent
they don't.
of digital
and the words to the
music.
song.
Right.
words to the
And
song.
you can Google them, but it's not in this
It's not the same.
package.
No.
It's not in this thing that you can pick up and physically grab and look at and have right in front of you.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost a shame when you got songs coming out on SoundCloud, and that's where they live, that's where they stay, and not everyone's going to see that, or it's just such a different world today than it was back then, and it's not that long ago. That's what's really interesting.
No.
Or you'd
things
get a real
changed
cool
really
poster
quick.
with
Yeah,
it too.
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
It'd
exactly,
be like,
exactly.
Right.
There was a Van Halen album, and it had a poster of David Lee Roth and chained up, and she.
That's not the one I hung up though. He already said that. It was the one
she
with
even
all
took it
four
with
of
her to
them.
Hawaii.
But I took it with me to Hawaii with my parents on a trip, and I taped it onto the wall next to my bed.
That's
I
funny.
couldn't leave without it.
Right.
It just came out.
David Lee.
And then it's funny. Fast forward a few years later, she actually hid from David Lee Roth.
It's true. Me and my girlfriend went to, what was the name of that club?
The Cat Club.
The Cat Club in Hollywood. And we went to see a band. It was $10 surprise band night. So we went, hopped in my little bug and drove over there, parked across the street, got there early. And all of a sudden, this guy's walking down the street, and he looked all crazy. He's got this like hair and this big balloon pants. And I go, oh my gosh, Jenny just ducked. She goes, why? And she's a couple of years younger. I said, because this guy's coming, just don't duck. So we ducked. And then later on, she goes, I don't know who that guy was that just walked in the door, but all the bouncers are doing high fives and spinning. And I go, oh man. So then we didn't know till the end of the night. We were on our way out, and there was David Lee Roth standing there in that outfit.
Wow, that's crazy.
And we hid from him.
Oh, but tell him who was playing for $10.
Megadeth.
What?
Oh wow.
$10.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
They go, surprise, the band's Megadeth. We're like, whoa.
What?
Man.
Like on a Tuesday.
That's cool. That's
and,
cool.
and to your point, Tim, you know, it was personable back then. Not only that,
Yeah.
when you bought an album, what'd you do? You rushed home, you got your buddies together. Hey,
Oh,
check out this
yeah.
album I got. You
Yeah.
throw it on the record player and you play
You
it.
shared that.
It was a
Yeah.
social thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an
Yeah.
event.
And it may sound kind of stupid, but I remember the first couple of records, like the Billy Joel record that I bought. When you grab that record, you take it home, like you said, you open it up, everything that's inside of it, it almost feels like it was meant for you. You know what I mean? It was personable. It was, you bought that album, it was yours. Now, you don't get that now.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody can click on a mouse and download a tune, but it's not the same.
Well, and
you
it's
know?
why
It's not
we
the
know
same.
all the artists. You can name a
Right,
band.
right.
And I know the guitar player. I know the drummer because I
Yeah.
read
Right,
the liner
right.
notes. Kids today, they don't even know the name of the band they're listening to. It's on a
No.
Spotify playlist, and
Yeah.
I just
They're,
It's like
they're
a
wearing
song.
the T-shirts. They're wearing the rock and roll T-shirts
Yeah,
because they're cool.
exactly.
And that, you know they don't know one
They
song.
don't have a clue. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And the
I mean,
album-
like, you could buy a Ramones T-shirt. Everybody wears a Ramones T-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, it's now in fashion. If you go
Yeah.
to the
That's
mall,
fashion.
we have teenagers in the house, and these guys, I constantly challenge them. I go, why are you wearing that T-shirt? You know, that they went to Zoomies and got a band T-shirt of Nirvana or whatever. I'm like, do you even know who that is? They're like, do you even listen to that music? What are you doing? Why are you wearing that? You know?
Yeah.
But it's I think it really has to do with the way that capitalism has kind of evolved over time, and how our society has changed into this instant gratification, and you consume and consume and consume it, and it's just now for the kids it's about just what's cool, what's in fashion. It's you're consuming and you're listening to the popular stuff or whatever is in fashion at the moment. Now these old school band T-shirts are in fashion at the moment. What? And it's lost its kind of credibility, and it's lost its community, and lost that kind of cohesion that you have with the groups that you're connecting with, or you're trying to connect with, or used to connect with. It was very social. Going to the record store, buying the record, getting your friends together, listening to music. It used to be very social, and now we're kind of moving away from that. It's a little bit concerning.
Yeah, you had to work to listen to your music.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you wanted to listen to a certain song, I mean, you had to know where to put the needle down,
Yeah.
to start on that song. So, I mean, you worked for it.
Yeah.
You know,
And,
so
and
it's-
Joey, you would track the album. You wouldn't just listen to the single or just one specific
Exactly.
song. You would listen to
Right.
the whole side
Right.
and flip it over and listen to the entire next side.
Unless you're trying to learn a song, and then it was
Over and over.
okay. No, that's not it. Try that again.
Yeah, I did that. I was guilty.
Does everyone still do that? We've talked about it. Gentry and I talk about it quite a bit. I am still, even with, I'm a sucker for, I gave in finally years ago to the Apple Music, and I just do all digital, but I will listen to albums all the time. I love track 1 to track 12. Like, do you all still do that? It's like, even though I can jump around, no, I want to hear the album.
Now, I have the patience. Somebody's ADHD and will switch around. And yeah, she's like her. The Echo hates her because she's constantly next song. Next song. Next song. Or play, AC/DC, whatever. Play Fleetwood
I once
Mac,
had to unplug her
play
because she was
Eagles.
arguing with me.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
yeah, she's arguing with it.
That's hilarious.
Like, stop skipping ahead. Just listen.
Yeah.
But to that point, I mean, we talk about it a lot with beer, with music. Like, do what you enjoy. It's funny. Like, we all have our thing that we're a purist about. So even the Disturbed thing, it's like, Why do I know Disturbed sound like a CD live? Because I paid for a Disturbed ticket. I went to the concert.
And
Right.
it sounded the same.
But I'm a purist. I want
Yeah.
to see them play. If I hear a sound on stage, I want to see who's making that noise.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
no,
But
absolutely.
to that point, though, did they put on an amazing show and get their fans all riled up? Absolutely.
Yeah.
They know exactly what they're doing, and it was spot on for what they are meant to be doing.
Yeah.
I've been to Gentry, you're going to throw up here, but you already know this. I've been.
I think he has been throwing up.
throwing up blood.
People with green in the face.
I've been to a Nickelback concert. I've been to Avenged Sevenfold.
I gotta go. I'm done.
Luke Bryan, is that the country guy?
Yeah.
I've been-
Luke Bryan.
So all the bands that I don't necessarily enjoy, but damn, do they put on a good show? And like that's what, and it was genuine. I genuinely had fun in the moment because everyone is just having such a damn good time. And in that moment, I'm like, look, I can be this snooty little guy that's, oh, hey, this isn't my, or I can just get into it and just have a hell of a time. And fortunately, that's what I chose. I'm going to have a hell of a time. I had one of the best concerts of my life was Nickelback. I don't care who judges me for that. It was a fun ass concert.
I don't.
Do I ever put on Nickelback at home? No, never. But it was an amazing show.
Right.
Anyway, all that is to defend Andrea of jumping around on her Echo and listening to whatever she wants.
To your point, it's also
It's
frustrating
music is music.
as it's also frustrating as musicians though, because to that point, we talked about the Super Bowl halftime show, right?
Yeah.
And I'm watching Dr. Dre on the piano, and he's just going off, right? And all of a sudden, he gets up and walks away, and the piano solo is still going.
Still playing.
And it's just so annoying to see that. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, at first I thought, man, this guy's freaking good on the piano. Then he gets up and walks away. It's like, well, you're an asshole, right? You know, it's like, that sucked.
Yeah.
That's
You guys
You know, one thing to your point, one thing that has happened over time is that, you know, during the 80s, you had a really kind of an amazing mixture of digital music and these instruments, these digital instruments combined with the acoustic element of vocals and different instruments that were blended really well.
Mm-hmm.
You look at bands like Depeche Mode. You look at bands like Depeche Mode didn't really do exactly that, but there were other bands that really were able to blend the acoustic and that kind of digital
The digital, yeah. Yep.
media together and make it blossom. And after the 80s and into the 90s, actually into the 2000s, really, I think where everything's auto-tuned, everything is digital, everything's, what is it, where you're normalized, your beat synchronized.
Oh yeah.
If you put a beat monitor up to songs from the 2000s, you're going to get whatever that BPM is. It's not going to vary
precise.
within one beat.
Right, right.
But these older songs, if you listen to them, you're going to hear fluctuations. Throughout the 90s, you had that. And
Right.
even, so you just, it kind of loses that real touch. And my hope is that eventually there's going to be that blending again of the digital and the acoustic that can kind of be blended again, because it really has just gone,
What about Neon Coven?
What about
That
Neon
band?
Coven?
They're really.
Oh yeah,
they're
that's
live.
a newer band that sounds like they sound very
Yeah.
much like Depeche Mode and even some of the '90s, like the Killers. And they're a newer band from the Hollywood area, and they sort of they blend a lot of that stuff of live and
Check them out. They're fun to watch.
digital
was the name
instruments,
again?
and they Neon Coven.
Neon-
Yeah,
Okay.
they look like an '80s sleaze type band. I mean, they look like LA Guns, but they sound like Depeche Mode. They're really, really good. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of fun.
That's cool.
I don't think they have a live keyboard player. They might have just
Look at
MIDI.
Gentry still up there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Gentry.
He's probably taking his makeup
I
off.
pissed him off.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said the Nickelback.
No,
He's gone. He's done.
I said
But you know what?
Nickelback.
Nobody can argue or say when that song Rockstar comes on, nobody's going to turn that
Oh,
on.
yeah, exactly.
That's a great song.
Enjoy what you
Uh-oh.
That is a good song. I'll admit to that.
Tim froze.
Oh,
But I wanted to ask Tim, Was it you that shared
Uh-oh.
that Rick Beato? Everyone wants to rule
the world.
Yeah.
Because watching that, which I saw it before you shared it, but he really demonstrated how the electronic and the analog or singing and all that came together, because there was a lot of it that was layered.
Exactly.
Which you wouldn't, you don't pick it up listening to the song as a whole, but there's a lot of layered stuff in there using electronics that just makes the song what it is. So that was really cool.
Exactly.
Because it is just another instrument, the digital stuff. It's just another means of, and I get hypocritical.
That's easy for you to say.
What is that? A 6-point wide? What is that?
About it. But because I was talking about that band Stop Stop, and I love the fact that they were not tracking; they were playing live, and they sounded great. But then there were some of the bands from Sweden who were tracking, and it was obvious the background vocals sounded way too good.
Yeah.
And some of the guitars, you're looking up, going, okay, there's only 2 guitar players, but I'm hearing 4 rhythm tracks. It sounded great, but
when you see a band live, you want to hear that rawness, even everything, a mistake or something.
Oh yeah,
warts and all.
It exciting.
Yeah.
Well, and to that point, I remember back in the day, you go watch a concert, and not so much now today. And I can't speak for metal because I don't listen to metal anymore, but you'd go and there'd be eight guys on the stage playing instruments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now you see 4 guys and there's big sounds coming out of it. And it's like, really? Come on. Seriously?
Yeah.
So, it's easy to hit a keyboard and the whole track plays.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the human ear can distinguish the difference between perfect and imperfect. And I think with music, the human ear wants to hear that imperfect because that's real.
Yeah.
And that's what really just kind of gets me. I'm like, wow, you can really hear the difference and you feel it. And it's more attractive to hear the imperfections.
Yeah.
You're like, I think that's why, real.
That's why some drum programs have the swing function to where it kind of offsets some of the beats a little bit, so it sounds like the human element of the playing.
Yeah.
So I meant to ask you guys, do you guys play instruments?
She plays keyboards, and she doesn't like to say she's a good singer, but she's a great singer. She's got like some rasp in her voice and a lot of attitude.
Awesome.
And I used to sing in bands, and I more play at it. I've been getting to a lot of the digital stuff as well on iOS and producing songs for this buddy of mine that has a band called Midnight Opera. He'll put everything together, and then we'll layer stuff on it, different effects and Foley stuff, and maybe put some other keyboard things on it, and I'll record the vocals. But I do
plays bass and sings too.
Yeah, cool. And a little bit of guitar, little. I can keep a beat on the drum, so I play a little bit of everything. I dabble.
He sings. He sang for bands when he
I used to sing
back in the
bands.
day. Yeah,
That's cool.
So what drew you guys into playing instruments then? What?
With me, Kiss.
Yeah.
My mom made me play piano.
Oh, really?
Take lessons from Mrs. Boslow. Yeah, it was fun. I took it for a long time, and then I kind of let it go. But sometimes he always wants to get me playing a new keyboard at home, and
because we have
maybe
we have a bunch of instruments at home, and I have a nice little Bluetooth keyboard that I have hooked up with. I don't know if you've messed around with the iOS stuff on iPad, all the different sounds, all the different. I've got a mini Moog on there, and
GarageBand.
Cool.
Oh, not just GarageBand, but GarageBand's amazing too. I wish you could use that as a plugin for some of the stuff like Cubasis 3. That's really good. Beatmaker 3 is another great program that I like a lot. Some of the distortion for plugging in your guitar is amazing. The tone you can get. It's So I dabble a lot with that stuff lately.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Really cool.
Dabble a lot. That's
an oxymoron, right?
If you guys ever want a music video made of your band, Arthur would love to make one.
Yeah. I've been,
Very cool.
I produced some couple videos for that band Midnight Opera as well.
Very cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I think,
fun.
Jeffrey and Gentry said it best last episode is that, with today's music, it's just they're just pushing out whatever they can. They can just regurgitate it and whatever's easy listening and easy to pick up by people, and that's what today's music is, and it's sad.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why I asked that question about heavy metal.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's not the case with heavy metal. So which is cool.
Yeah.
And the problem is it doesn't annoy the consumer today. The consumer likes it. And so that's why the corporations do it. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to slap the consumer. Like, wake up. There's better stuff out there.
Yeah,
And
there
sure,
is. There's
kids
amazing
don't
talent.
know any better.
Right.
You guys heard the term, I mean, the masses are asses.
We like that. That's the quote of the day from Pestilence.
Word of the day.
Well, you know, in Joey and I's experience playing together, we've like I said last episode, him and I connect in so many ways when we play on stage. And we'll look at each other, we'll do something kick ass, and it just sounds really freaking awesome, right? You look at the audience, and they're not fazed by it. It's like, are you fucking dead? What is the deal? You know?
Yeah.
And it's just so disappointing because
But we enjoyed it.
we did, yeah.
Well, isn't that weird? So if you write a song and it's something you were just messing around with, you know, maybe a chord progression or a warm up, and then you write a song out of it, it sounds good. You write it in like 5 minutes, it comes together. And people just love it. And then you got a song that you've spent months on producing and putting a lot of thought in, and people just go, Yeah, that's just, I hate that.
Yeah, probably one of my greatest works, and Jeff will agree, is a song I wrote called "Dead Meat." And you know, I got my little Tascam 4-track, you know, recorder back in the early '80s, and then I had a little PV. What they call that little amp? It was like the first little practice amp that had really great distortion on it. Wish I remember the name of it. Anyway, I thought I'm going to write a song, and buddy myself, write one about dead meat. I said, okay. So I put hardly any time into that song. You know, got to record.
Somebody better send me a link for that song. Like, send me the song.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I'd love to remake the song, but I don't think it would have the same, you know, kind of funness that had, you know. But yeah, it was just something that just came out and it was over and done with, and then Jeff and his brother, they learned to play the song in their bands, and you know, it's like, wow,
That's funny.
this is my greatest feat.
That's
awesome.
Yeah,
I want to hear it.
I mean, that is a metal title.
Yeah, it is.
What are we hearing?
That's it.
Is this Dead Meat by Joey Stay? I can't tell how loud it is or not.
That's awesome.
Nowhere on your seat.
Look, you sing the words.
Everybody knows you just can't beat.
I like it.
hey, no joke. Someone better send me that after this.
That's a cool song.
I think it needs to be the closing credits on this episode.
Dig it out. Yeah.
Well, you have the copyright, right?
Yeah.
So you're
I never did copyright it.
Oh, well, then good. You don't have to
just
pay
a
publishing
novel.
on it. You could use it for the show.
I have permission.
But it was the Roland came out. It was their first drum machine that they made. So it was before the 808 came out. I think it was the 505 or whatever it was that I used on there. And it just says that. It's great.
It sounded good. I liked it.
That's funny.
I did.
Fun stuff.
And the 808 was popular in the 80s.
Oh, God, yeah.
Super
That
popular.
sub-bass sound. Boom, boom, boom. That's still used a lot now. They
Well, yeah,
sub-played it a lot.
if you can find one, it's going to cost you a pretty penny.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. An original one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I did find, what was it that I found? Because I was trying to do Phil Collins in the Air tonight. I was trying to duplicate that drum pattern. And I think I found it in Logic that they had an 808 in there. But
Yeah, probably.
They may have added it, but I heard the story behind that. And when they recorded it, when I was going to Crass, that they had a room mic, you know, a talkback mic, so you can talk to the musicians in the studio and stuff. And the engineer forgot to turn that mic off, and so it was just an overhead mic that, you know, that they used. And so when they played it back, and they had that boom, boom,
yeah,
boom,
yeah.
it was because of that overhead mic that they left on. You know, so it was an accident, but they had to leave it in.
They left it in.
So it was, and then they started doing it on all kinds of songs.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
That is cool. An accident just becomes like the new sound because it is.
yeah,
It's
that's the
been
new way to do it.
replicated
Yeah.
so many
You know,
times.
unrelated, but and this kind of maybe might tie into. I got to talk about the Beatles again because Pestilence loves the Beatles. If you know the Beatles song "I Feel Fine," it starts with that what's claimed to be the first guitar feedback ever recorded, and that was a total accident. Like John Lennon had left his guitar laying against the amp, and they turned it on and hit record, and it was an accident. So the best shit is accidental. So
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Anyway,
But isn't that how all the stuff came about? I mean, trial and error. I mean, when reverb first came about and all that stuff. I mean, it was all trial and error, wasn't it? They
How
come
did
up
you
with
do
a cool-
that?
Right.
Yeah. Even distortion.
I was in a bathroom.
yeah, exactly.
I think it was crap. Are we drinking beer?
We are.
That
Yes.
explains it.
We have one more to drink too.
No, Merle Haggard back in, was it Merle Haggard or was it Johnny Cash? Crap, I can't remember. There's a song where there's a guitar solo in it that's just really, it's really crunchy sounding. And it was because the guy blew a speaker while they were recording,
Oh, that's awesome.
but they end up leaving it in,
Ooh, I want to hear that song.
Huh.
I would love that.
Cool.
Yeah, it was one of his more famous songs. I think it was Merle Haggard. But
That's cool.
That's so cool.
I love the old country.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
much.
but I mean, even then, those influence, like we were talking about earlier, the influences. I mean, the influence Johnny Cash had on a lot of the hard rock bands, and even was it Scotty Moore, the guitar player for Elvis? I mean, truly, how many of those early guitar heroes? I mean, that was what you had was Scotty Moore, and they loved him.
Yeah.
It was just very much an influence.
I actually got to meet James Burton, who was
James Burton, who's I'm thinking of too.
Yeah, James Burton. Great guy. I got to meet him when I was like 12, and that was super cool.
He's the reason we have super slinky strings.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was one of the first guitar players to go, I'm going to loosen this stuff up, So I don't know how he got I don't know what gauge it was that he put on the bottom. If it was a 9 or a 10 or whatever, but it was definitely a lot lighter than what was available. And
That's like B.B. King. B.B. King, I guess, played with really light strings, something like a 7.
7.
that's Billy Gibbons plays with 7s.
Because of B.B. King. Yeah, because he said that.
You don't want to work so hard.
Yeah,
now I want to hear
Yeah.
ZZ Top.
Maybe easy.
I don't know how they play, because when you're soloing, you're doing bends and everything, but when you're just playing chords, like it just slips all over the fretboard, just up and I accidentally bend my chords if anything lower than a 10, honestly, on my electric.
Well, if you watch Billy Gibbons play, you'll never see him play a full chord.
Oh,
The
really?
guy is a master at playing just simple power chord stuff, and he does very little, but it sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, you know who did
that's how you
that?
get around it.
I mean, to bring it back to metal, Lemmy from Motorhead freaking played power chords on his bass.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 It was crazy the things he did with that Rickenbacker.
The Rickenbacker, man, and he I've
Yeah.
always been uncomfortable watching his mic placement. Because it's almost like he's like reaching up,
Yeah.
But damn that man, first of all, I thought he'd never die, and he did. Rip. But he played power chords on a bass. Like how
Yeah.
Totally.
So totally metal.
I can't think of the name of it, but there's that documentary about Lemmy. It's maybe 5.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
great.
yeah, we have. Yeah, I can't
saw
remember
that.
the name either. We have it on
So
Blu-ray.
I think it was
good,
just
though.
called Lemmy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it
that
might have
does
been
ring
just
a
called
bell.
Lemmy.
And his
Was
son
that
was
the
in
one
it,
where
right?
most
Yeah.
of the time was spent in the bar? Like it was showing him just sitting at the bar.
Yeah, at the
At the
Rainbow.
Rainbow.
Yep.
The rainbow. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that. That was amazing.
Like the bar and his.
Arthur once played pool with Lemmy.
Yeah.
Really?
That-
Really cool.
And I won.
Wow.
Yeah, and I won. Yeah. Yeah, he was very cool. Very nice.
We used to go to the Rainbow quite a bit, I guess. Not all the
That's
time.
not where we
but
played pool,
But
but-
we would go. Oh, it wasn't.
That was in Hollywood, wasn't it?
Yeah,
The Rainbow?
yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, there was a table we'd like to sit at that has a picture of Ronnie James Dio.
But I never saw him when I went there. I would have liked
Yeah.
to said I did, but
Well,
it
Arthur,
was just nice. They had great pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that studio in Hollywood that's supposed to be haunted?
Oh, the recording studio?
Yeah.
Is it a record plant? Or is that what
I've
it's
never
called?
heard
Because
of
Ghost
one like
Adventures
this. Maybe
did an
Sound
episode
City.
there.
Yeah. Well, Sound City's
No,
gone now.
That's not
Yeah.
That's not Hollywood, though, right?
No, but that's
Yeah.
up in that area. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great documentary too, Sound City.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
Like with Stevie Nicks and
Yeah,
all
that is. That's an awesome documentary. I love it. I'm just a music nerd. I don't know if you've been able to tell by my talking.
You're in
I
good
just
company.
Yeah.
That's why you guys are on the show.
Yeah, I
we
just
love
love
it.
it.
We
Yeah.
always it'll be like Friday night. What are we going to do? Oh, let's watch concerts or a
Concerts or
scary
some rock
movie
and
or
roll
ghost hunting.
documentary
It's
or-
one
yeah.
of those three.
Yeah.
This episode could be like 10 hours, and I wouldn't get tired of it. Like just
That's what I say. I mean, we could just
It'd
go
be
on
easy
forever
to
with
go.
this. Oh,
Totally.
yeah, easily. It'd be a Joe Rogan, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's a very easy topic.
And we still got
for
another
sure.
beer, and you're way behind, by the way.
Oh, well,
Just telling you.
I can down it. What's the other beer? What did I miss?
We have a third one, right?
Another ACDC,
Yeah,
I
no,
believe.
no. We have it's the other
It's-
Iron Maiden.
Oh,
The
yeah,
other
the
Iron
Iron
Maiden
Maiden.
It's this one that
Gentry
I messed
Pestilence.
up in.
Yeah.
Pestilence is going to go ape on us.
Sonnen.
yeah,
you gotta-
no, but I'm like comfortable in that because non-conformity is like my whole thing.
Yeah, there you go.
So
We've never
I'll take
noticed.
yours with another. So cool.
I can't believe the box didn't make it there.
Yeah, I'm so bummed out, but it is what it is.
But you'll still get to try them, though. That's the good part.
Yeah, let us know
Yeah,
when
it's
they
a cool thing.
arrive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
can
will.
save them until we release this episode. Then you can drink along with you.
And you're in Georgia?
Yeah.
Pestilence? You're
Yeah.
in Georgia?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
actually- yeah, Georgia. North Georgia. So, it takes
Okay.
things longer to get to me out here. So,
You know what you do, Gentry? When you do get them, you drink them and film yourself drinking them,
Oh yeah.
and then we'll
Yeah.
throw it as like an outtake on the episode.
Yeah.
I will, but I'm not
That would be
putting
cool.
it on my face again.
Yeah, you got to put on your face again.
We
You
can,
know,
we can do
I
all
had a-
kinds.
I had a question for all of you, actually. Speaking of how metal kind of has transitioned over the years and evolved and gone and split off into all these different directions. One thing that happened in the 90s for me musically was being exposed to the band Tool.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously Maynard is an incredibly talented musician, lyricist, songwriter, all that. Well, melody writer. And the musicians from Tool are incredible musicians. And I think it kind of, when I first discovered Opiate and I started listening to,
Yeah.
started listening to that, and then the subsequent albums that came out, they kind of blew me away. And I really became a Tool aficionado. I was like, I am Tool. I am Tool fan. Big
Yeah.
time. And I continue to be to this day, even with Pucifer and, just all the different,
The perfect circle.
everything that they've gone
Yeah.
into. But it really kind of helped me to kind of expand my musical, education by listening to how they created these amazing songs and sounds that they created. They were able to do it. I got to see Tool in concert in Sacramento a couple years back, and it just wow, like it blew my goddamn mind. And I just kind of wonder about your input, and I know they're kind of categorized as new metal or whatever, something, or there may be a bunch of different categories. Who knows?
Progressive
But,
metal.
Yeah, prog
They're
rock,
kind of-
math
Yeah,
rock,
prog,
all that.
yeah,
kind of
math
stuff.
rock. I think they're kind of like the Pink Floyd of metal, really. I mean, it's just they're amazing. And Maynard's lyrics, the way his phrasing is just out there. It's just brilliant. Yeah, and then their show, it's crazy. I mean, there's times where he won't even face the audience. I mean, that truly, what would
That's
spark
metal.
somebody? Yeah, what are the watching them? They're just
It's
looking at him to
intense.
see what's he going to do?
Right.
Why is he doing that? It keeps people's attention. It's amazing.
And you get elements of like the Doors, in that way that he was very shy early
Yeah.
on. And,
yeah.
Let's
Maynard
talk
also
about the
shares
Doors.
that.
Right?
I love that. I'm a huge Doors fan.
yeah.
But it's that mysterious element
Yeah.
That's what the Doors brought. And that's what a lot of bands are missing, but that's now what Tool is.
Yeah, that's what Maynard has brought. But it's taken him so long for this newest album. But yeah, I mean, he's had all those other projects, A Perfect Circle, like Jeff said, Pucifer. He's got, and then he has his wine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently the wine's good.
There's our
It's
wine
been
episode
a
right
while
there.
for us. So, being Tool fans, we went to Jerome where
Jerome is
he's from
cool.
and the tasting room is. And there's a Pucifer shop
go ghost
next to
hunting.
the wine shop. So we went up
Crazy.
there to get the wine. And he was part of a different wine. Arizona or
Caduceus.
no, the Stronghold.
Oh, Arizona Stronghold.
Yeah, which was great.
Okay.
But then when he got his own wine line, and we tried the Caduceus.
It was a little young when we tried it.
Yeah, so we got to revisit that. Yeah.
But I'm sure it's
Interesting.
evolved since. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Why did
I've
they?
heard it's really good.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
we have to
when
buy
we had it,
get another one.
I'm not gonna say, but we want to try it again.
We went to the tasting room and it just didn't. It's
We
as
wanted
if you
to love
made
it.
wine and it
Right.
just wasn't aged quite enough.
I appreciate that you say that.
Yeah.
Though. Normally,
Yeah.
the bias would kick in, and you would just lie to yourself and be like,
Yeah, no,
this
we're
is good because Maynard
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
brutally honest. Yeah,
I bought a wine opener, but not a bottle.
yeah, and then we wanted to. I mean, the bottles looked really cool. The artwork and the corks were black. I mean, how metal is that?
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
But the taste, we'll see.
He
We'll try
did
it
buy
again.
a Pucifer shirt next
Yeah,
door.
I did buy a Pucifer shirt.
It is funny though, Tim. You bring up Maynard because I'm a huge Tool fan. He's early as like mid '90s, and then so that's we've seen Tool and A Perfect Circle several times in concert. And it going back to the purist thing, like I love those bands. I will always buy every album that comes out, but he drives me crazy live because my thing that I want in a live show is you interact with the crowd. I just paid money. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Make me feel
Yeah.
like I'm the only person in the
Yeah.
crowd. I'm such a sucker for that shit. Salt Lake City, hey! It's like
Yeah.
he likes our city. He says we're the best. But Maynard doesn't play that game though, and in all reality, I respect who he is because he's true to who he is. But so we went to a couple Tool shows, and yeah, he literally not even a spotlight on him. The dude was in the darkness on a platform to the side
In the
of
back.
drummer.
That is really that's worse than
That's-
Yngwie playing alone on stage.
So it's like
Yeah.
then A Perfect Circle is coming to Vegas right when we moved to Vegas, and so we're like, okay, great, we're gonna buy tickets to that. I bet like he puts on a different persona because he's a different person in each band. So we're like, I bet in A Perfect Circle he's right up front. Oh hell no, there was a spotlight on him, but like it's literally song off the stage.
Yeah.
Oh.
Damn it, Maynard, talk to me, man.
Wow.
And the thing is, because I just love the guy. I find him so
Yeah.
damn intriguing. I want to hear him
Yeah.
talk.
It's intriguing.
I want
Yeah.
to hear what he has to say in between songs, but that's not the show he puts on, and I respect that. But anyway,
Jeff,
That's
Jeff,
the game
have
they
you,
have to play.
Jeff, have you seen his documentary about the winery?
Yeah,
No.
from blood to or wine to blood or blood to wine or
okay.
something
Now
like
you'll
that.
now
Yeah.
you'll get to hear him talk.
all right,
Yeah.
nice. I need to
Yeah.
check that out.
And he did an interview also with Sammy
cool.
Hagar.
Anyone would
Sammy
like it.
Hagar had the show called it was like Road
Yeah.
Show or something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Greased that,
and
right?
Guy Fieri, and he talks about that
Yeah.
also. He talks
Yeah.
about the wine, and I heard that if you meet him and you talk about wine, you're good, but
Right.
if you bring up music, forget it.
He'll shut down.
Yeah, then
Really?
he shuts
That's
down.
Really
yeah.
interesting.
That's interesting.
I always heard that Neil Peart was the same way. The drummer for Rush. Like he was
Yeah, I heard that too.
very
Yeah,
uncomfortable with fan interactions.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the,
You
like
can talk
Danny
about
Lee-
anything but music.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Exactly, because he doesn't feel like he should be idolized. Like
They're
like,
introverts.
he's
Too-
very
They're
Yeah.
very much an introvert.
That is
Yeah.
the weird part. Is I do take it on a ridiculous level. I take it personally. Like, come on, dude, we just spent money. You need to talk to us. They're still
Yeah.
human beings. That's like
Yeah.
the Coheed in Cambria. That was the first concert me and my wife went to. We named our daughter after that band.
Oh
Like,
wow.
we love that band, but damn, do they drive me crazy? Because Claudio walks on stage. Not Claudio. It is Claudio. I was
Yeah,
thinking
Claudio.
that.
Yeah.
But
We
hey,
walked right by him one time backstage at
Oh,
a
nice.
show with Jane's
Right on.
Addiction and Alice in Chains, but Coheed and
Ooh.
Cambria.
Jane's
Yeah.
Addiction. I have a great story about that. Anyway,
yeah, so he comes on stage though, and it's the same thing. It is literally song, and they're off stage. There's not a word in between, and it pissed me off on a stupid level. But it pissed me off. But then Gentry and I had the chance to meet the lead singer of this band called the Deer Hunter, who has toured with them. And he's like, "No, dude, the dude is just anxious. he's very uncomfortable in social situations. It's why he likes his long hair. He covers his face,
his
he
face.
plays his music, and then he gets out of there.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. I totally respect that.
Yeah, isn't that weird how, you got these guys on stage that are these, you just seem like superhuman.
Right.
And then you find out that they have social anxiety.
Yeah.
But yet they were just in front of thousands. Like Paul Stanley from Kiss, you read his book. And the guy said that after playing Madison Square Garden in front of, thousands of people, he went to a deli by himself and had a sandwich. Yeah. It wasn't, the big party and groupies
Seriously,
and all kinds of alcohol. Yeah, he just took off the makeup and got dressed and went and had a sandwich by himself.
But it is true though, because we can get up in front of an audience and play, not blink an eye, right? Not thinking
Right.
nothing about it. But put me up in front of a room, make me do a speech, I close up like a freaking 11-year-old kid. I can't do it.
Even on that same note, though, I mean, we can get up on stage and play and, kind of interact a little bit with the crowd. But as soon as we're done playing or we go down on a break, that is the toughest part of being a musician.
It is.
It really is. That's where I'm out of my comfort zone totally,
Yeah.
So people come up and talk to you. It's like, well, glad you like it. That's cool. Yeah.
You guys, I was in
It's a tough thing.
I was in a local band like years ago, and I actually got recognized once in a grocery store, and that was the weirdest goddamn thing for me because I did not accept it. And I'm like, who are you? I'm nobody. Like, screw you. And I was nobody. I'm not Paul Stanley. I'm not Neil Peart.
Your
I'm
YouTube video has a lot of
pestilence.
views. Come on,
You're
pestilence.
a pestilence.
Yeah. I did want to say, though, going back to the Perfect Circle, like, I got the chance to see a Perfect Circle. Jeff might know the story, but, I'm at Lollapalooza, I think, which was a revival of the whole Lollapalooza. But anyway, so it's at in Salt Lake City, and some guy comes out wearing, like, khakis and a blue-collared shirt, and he's wearing a cap that says Salt Lake City Arts Council, and he said, "Up next is the Perfect Circles," and he goes back behind the stage, and the whole curtains open up, and then there's a perfect circle, and they're all wearing khakis and blue shirts, and these like tags, like basically press passes, and ball caps that say Salt Lake City Art Council, And but to Jeff's point, like, so I've seen a perfect circle, but I've never seen Maynard because he was behind this curtain, and they had spotlights on him so you could see his shadow the whole time, like the silhouette, and he was moving and grooving and stuff, but I never saw Maynard. And part of me has got to think that he's just, I don't know that he's socially anxious or whatever the case may be, but like I felt robbed a little bit.
Yeah.
But
That's very disappointing.
Yeah.
I kind of is.
You told me that story, and for some reason in my head, I made it up that it was Maynard that came out and said that.
No, so I think he was the bass player at the time, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it was Marilyn Manson's bass player who
Twiggy Ramirez.
Twiggy Ramirez, who was with a Perfect Circle, and
Oh yeah, that's right. He did play with a Perfect Circle.
Yeah. So, but the whole thing, also at the same time, it was fucking hilarious. So
that is awesome.
But
the Perfect Circles.
Perfect Circles.
The Perfect Circle.
They changed the name.
The Perfect Circles.
I'm dancing
Yay!
Is that a break?
Pretty great.
That's like we saw the band Chips Enough, and I call him Chips. So
Oh,
we would
well,
see him
enough-
on the
enough-
cruise, and I'd say, "Hi, Chip." He'd go, "Hi, Chip." I'd go, "Hi, Chips." He goes,
Enough's
"It's only
enough.
Chip."
They're called Enough's
Yeah, we're
enough.
gonna call him Chip.
Enough's enough. Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh my
Chip.
God. I remember when I was 10 and my dad said, Hey, Pestilence, do you you want some chips? And I'm like, well, hell yeah, I want some chips. And then you put on the sitcom from the 80s with Eric Estrada. I'm like, you mother.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah. Now this one is a more sessionable. It's a
check this out.
4.8%.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
we're winding down off of this
Yeah,
one. Then.
yeah.
Okay.
What
A sake
was the
lager.
second one you're
Yeah.
drinking?
Yeah.
Now it says sake, but it's
Ooh.
brewed with sake yeast is what they
Ah.
use to ferment it. Yeah. It doesn't have a sake flavor to it, or I don't know. Maybe you'll taste something in there that I don't. Because her and I will compare
yeah, we
taste.
don't
I mean, is it
always
like a
agree.
Kieran's or is it like a Kieran's?
Like a Kieran's?
Kieran?
You know what? I
Kieran?
haven't
Oh,
actually.
Kieran. Yeah. No.
Kieran
I
and
haven't had a
Sapporo?
Kieran in so
Probably.
long. I don't even remember.
It probably is. Yeah, I would say probably.
So something
yeah.
you would have
maybe
with
so.
sushi, huh?
Yeah.
Who's all sushi fans? We are.
Oh, we love
hell
sushi.
Oh,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
do.
We did. Matter of fact, we did Kieran and sushi on an episode one time.
Oh, did you?
Nice.
Yeah.
We need to do
That
that.
I got
great.
the opportunity. I went to Vancouver recently for work, and I had probably the best sushi of my life, and it's probably ruined me for sushi because it's
Wow.
like nothing I ever have will match up to that. It was amazing. So
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
yeah,
Look at that.
Yeah, that's
Very nice.
very Budweiser looking.
Cheers.
Yeah,
But-
and
yeah,
it's
cheers.
what? It's
Cheers, guys.
cheers, guys.
cheers.
Cheers.
That smells good.
I need to send you all
Yep.
because this is what I'm drinking now. But I need to send all.
I definitely want to try
Southern-
that.
Oh, yeah.
for
Oh,
sure.
nice.
Ooh,
Definitely
nice.
want to try that.
This is
Southern juice.
absolutely my go-to.
Who makes it? Gentry.
Jekyll Island.
Oh.
So
I've
it's a
heard
Georgia
of them.
brewery. Yeah, really?
Yeah,
so
I've been to Jekyll Island.
Really?
Good.
Yeah. I spent 6 months in Glen County, there in Brunswick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is good.
Yeah.
Would
so,
go good with sushi.
Yeah, it would. You're
Absolutely.
right. It is like a Japanese Kirin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice and
Nice
mild.
light lager.
Yeah, that was in 2000. I was out there, Gentry.
Mhm.
The mosquitoes loved me. I was there from June till October, just getting eaten up by no-see-ums and mosquitoes.
Yeah. Well, glad you're still with us.
This is a lawn cutting beer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Long
I
kind
would,
of yay, man.
I would definitely put that in the Kieran Sapporo family.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Definitely.
it's mild. Again, it's she's the one that I let when we did the video on it. I let her talk about the flavors because for me, it's mild. It's just very it's bread is what.
But I like
biscuity
that.
is
I
what
really,
comes
I
to
truly
mind.
do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's very good.
It doesn't have a standout scent. Or
Everything
anything.
doesn't have to be over the top, Arthur.
But you can make it that way. This would make a great sake bomb beer.
Yeah.
You
It would.
know.
Now sake I love like the good cold
Good sake is
sakes.
good. Yeah.
Oh,
Cold or hot?
cold. Yeah, cold.
I like it
good
cold,
cold
too.
sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
You know, I
love that.
haven't had it chilled.
Oh my gosh.
Have you?
Yeah,
There's a sake, an award-winning sake out of Holbrook, Arizona.
really?
Yes, yeah. She got me
Holbrook,
one for, was
Arizona,
it
really?
Father's Day or my birthday last year? I
You
can't
know
remember.
the rice patties that they have there?
Yeah,
in Holbrook?
yeah, but it's out of Holbrook. Yeah, of all places. But it is amazing. And so when we have sushi or fish, because you're supposed to drink white wine with fish.
Yeah.
And to me, even like red wine, horrible with fish.
Yeah.
White wine, still horrible with fish. I have to have sake when we have
That's interesting.
sushi or any sort of
Sushi
fish.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried
That's
that?
interesting.
There's a sake that we recently discovered. It's called Soto, Sotto,
No.
and they come in cans. And
Oh, wow.
they're
I'll have to try that.
That sounds.
Is it a sparkling sake? Because there's.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're kind of cutting out, Tim.
You're breaking up,
Cutting out.
Tim.
Uh-oh.
We can't hear you, man.
Can't hear you.
This happens to me every day at work. You're on mute.
Yeah, it's now mute. Now it's muted.
Uh-oh.
You're on mute and you're freezing.
What's
it
funny
wasn't
is
it wasn't mute. I just got a call and it switched me off my
Ah.
headset somehow. I don't know why.
Now
So-
you got to repeat
yeah,
that
start that whole thing
Yeah,
over
what about
again.
the sake?
Okay, so sorry.
It comes in a can,
Soto,
right?
Sotto comes in a black can, and they have it at Bevmo, and we've had it at our local sushi place that our favorite around here, and man, that sake is awesome. It is an
Wow,
excellent.
we'll have to look
excellent
for
sake.
that. Yeah.
Now we're going for sushi next week. That's
Right?
it.
Yeah, we'll have to look for it. I got some recently at Total Wine, and it's kind of in this jar. It was like a single serving sake, but I wasn't real happy with it. It wasn't very good. And one of my favorites is one called it's a dessert sake called Sayuri. It's in a pink bottle, and it has you have to shake it up because it has sediment at the bottom. Oh man, it has like pineapple, vanilla.
Really?
Yeah, it's just outstanding.
I don't know if this is similar to what you just described, Tim, but there was one called Bunny Sake that we used to get in Vegas.
Wow.
And it's a sparkling sake, and you drink it like a beer. It's just an individual bottle. Pop it. It is absolutely delicious.
Sparkling meaning carbonated?
Yeah, carbonated sake.
Yeah.
And you just drink it like a beer.
Yeah, sparkling sake is good. Trader Joe's used to have a good sparkling sake.
The only sake that I've had or I've bought, and I don't even know what the name of it is, but you've probably all seen it. It comes in that black bottle that's rounded.
I've had that. Yeah.
Shiko or
whatever it
I
is.
think it's like Gaikon or something like that.
Gaikongman.
Yeah, but I've only had that warm, so I don't know what I'm gonna have to experiment with some more sake.
Yeah, cold sake. So cold sake, good sakes you drink cold. Once it's been sitting, you opened it and it's been sitting for a little bit, and if it starts to lose a little bit of its flavor, you warm that up, and it sort of rejuvenates the flavors and aromas.
God, you guys, like, not to tie this. Sorry, like, we're talking Japanese, and this is a heavy metal episode, and I don't know if you can see this, but I recently discovered these guys, and you're not gonna be able to see that. It's backwards anyway.
Who is that?
So, Ningen Isu, and they are an amazing Japanese metal band. It's
Really?
Okay, we'll have to exchange numbers, and you can send it to us. I'll never remember the name.
So weird stuff there with Japan and metal. So this one computer tech, the IT tech that I knew where I was working, went to Japan not too long ago, and he was saying, you got to check out these bands, and it's these what are they called? It's the girls that dress all frilly there.
Geishas.
Geishas?
No.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Like baby metal
Yeah,
or
like
something.
baby metal.
Oh,
yeah. But there's
chocolate. Give me chocolate.
But there's a bunch of bands. Yeah, there's a bunch of bands like baby metal, which are these girls, these Japanese girls that dress all frilly, and they just rock.
Oh my!
And they are metal.
Yeah, they are metal.
Yeah,
love it.
It's crazy.
But it's different.
Yeah.
It's not
absolutely because they look like Japanese like schoolgirls.
Exactly.
They do.
3 of them as the front singers, right?
Do they wear plaid?
They do.
Like little skirts and stuff.
Little skirts.
Cool.
Like think Hello Kitty.
Yeah, Hello
Yeah,
Kitty.
yeah, exactly. But they got
music
heavy,
behind them is
distorted
like-
guitars going.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
actually, like there was a lead guitarist in that band who just committed suicide as well.
Oh no,
Baby metal. So that was very sad. But
that is
like,
sad.
They had something similar. You ever see the movie Blade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the Oriental girls that were playing in that band that were singing?
Yeah, I don't
During that
remember
one
the
episode,
band. I do
that's
remember
kind
the
of how they were
movie.
dressed up. Same
Probably
way, plaid
they were
skirts
probably
and-
the
The
four-
influence?
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that was
Yeah, the
interesting.
predecessor.
Yeah.
We saw Loudness a few years
Oh,
ago.
Loudness
a Japanese
is awesome.
metal band, and they were so good.
What's one of their hits?
Oh gosh, Rock and Roll Crazy Nights.
Rock and roll crazy nights.
Yeah, they were really good
It's the
live.
best.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
so Heavy
Yeah.
Metal Beer Club, I have a question for you. This is going to be a thinker,
Sure.
okay? Because you're the experts, and it's been years, but it's been vexing me for years, probably for about 10,000 years.
Oh my gosh, pestilence.
That's a long time.
Not really in the scheme of things, but
Not in the age of the galaxy.
no, I'm an infant. But okay, and this is gonna be very random. But years ago, I saw a YouTube video. It was like a music video of a Norwegian heavy metal band, and they were all blonde, long blonde hair, and wearing suits, like business suits.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything like that ring a bell? Because
Yeah, I was actually in that band.
oh my God, you look so familiar now.
Yeah, no, but a lot of those Nordic metal bands are just fantastic. A lot of
It truly
from
was like it like blew me away, and then I promptly forgot the name of them, and then for years now I can't remember, and I've searched and I can't find it. But
if anything, they're just fun to watch. They're very entertaining.
Sweden has a bunch of these metal bands that sound very much like 80s metal bands that are amazing. There was a band called Heat we saw recently, a band called Crazy Licks. And what's that band? We got the singer, we got him drunk at Rocklanta. Yeah, a great band.
Oh, Hardcore Superstar.
Yeah, Hardcore Superstars. They're fantastic. We're having drinks with the singer, and so another buddy and I, we start drinking Jack with him. Next thing you know, they had to haul him off and take him to bed.
He only had one.
Wow.
But they were great, really good band. But they sound like the old Sunset Strip Hollywood bands.
Really fun.
And they're all young. They're new.
Yeah, they weren't
new
dark.
bands.
They weren't dark.
No.
Yeah,
And this band wasn't dark either. It was like absolutely harken back to the Sunset Strip metal, but
yeah,
it was like melodic metal, I would say.
Yeah. And that's how these bands, they're new bands from Sweden. They sound like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I need to ask Jeff a question, if his dad's ever shared this story with him. I think we were playing. I used to play in a band with Jeff's dad, who's my brother, and we were playing in Price, Utah, at some bar, and when we got there, we used to play like 5 nights in a row, whatever. So this was one of the weekend nights. We get there, and the owner says, "Oh, we got this this band. I think they were from they were Asian, but." Philippines, I think, is from where they were from. Mm-hmm. So, and they're just going to play one set, if you don't mind. We go, we're making the same money. I don't care.
Right.
So they're going to use our gear and stuff. And so getting them set up with their own gear, they're kind of playing individually. And I go, God, this is going to suck, because they're just kind of warming up by themselves. And
you're wondering what it's going to be like.
This is going to be really interesting. And then they opened up with their set. And we didn't want to go back on after that. They were so good. It was unbelievable.
How cool is that?
Like Arnel Pineda, the singer from Journey now?
Journey,
yeah.
Gosh,
that's another good documentary.
Good. Yeah, that is. Yeah.
What a story.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I have
Don't
heard
stop
that story,
believing.
Joey. That is funny.
You haven't, or
No, I have not.
Oh, you'll have to ask him about it, because it was crazy. Because I thought, these guys are going to suck. Or listen to them warming up on our equipment, and then all of a sudden they came out with this show, and I think they opened up with "If You Think I'm Sexy," the Rod Stewart song.
Speaking of Rod
Just
Stewart.
rocked it. Huh?
Oh God, it was so good.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's what you used to hate about open mic nights too.
Someone's showing you up.
Somebody
Yeah,
up
you
there,
don't
and they would
know.
be freaking awesome.
Yeah,
You're like,
you
"Oh,
don't
shit,
know."
I don't want to go back up after that.
Yeah,
I've done
it's true.
that.
You
Like,
can't tell.
in fact, I was in Phoenix and I did an open mic, and I was all prepared, and it took me like 10 years to get mentally prepared for this open mic, because I'm like, I suck, I don't want to do this, and I get there and I finally get the confidence, and the guy right before me was fucking brilliant, and he did amazing, and then I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this. I don't want to. So I did it anyway, and whatever. So. Yeah.
But then you get the opposite that happens. You get the guy that really sucks, and he comes back up like 5 more times throughout the night. You're like, Jesus, this guy's coming back up again, really?
Oh, that's obvious, because he's the next American Idol.
Yeah, right.
Or better yet, he's decked out and he's got this big, beautiful coif, and it just looks like a rock star.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I love it. I love it when you see that. And then, you see some guy that just looks like some ordinary
And they
guy
blow
and
it
some
out of the
kills
water.
it.
and goes out there, and just rocks.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
For sure.
Funny open mic night I was doing up in Clearfield, Utah, for those who know. And this chick gets up and she's got a little boom box. She's like, hey, my boyfriend's in prison right now, but I wanted to play some of his music. She literally hits play on a cassette player. What? And just pulls it up to the microphone.
What was everyone doing?
It's her boyfriend pre-incarceration, just on his acoustic
Oh my
guitar.
God.
Oh,
Was it
man.
Charles
my
Manson?
gosh.
What?
Was
Was it
Charles
Charles?
Manson?
No, yeah. I wish it'd be a cooler story. No, and it was horrible. It was so bad. Everyone just
Oh
kind of
my
like,
God.
okay, way to go. Like, that's not the purpose of open mic, but great.
Yeah, we'll support you.
So
That's
I have a
amazing.
question to ask. We've made it this far in the episode, and we have not once mentioned Guar.
They're fun. I mean, that's
They're
just
fun.
a fun show band.
It's like a monster band.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, my question to you is, like, do you consider them a serious metal band?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say
No.
so. Yeah, no, but they're great. You know,
People would.
they're a lot of fun.
Not me, though.
Yeah,
they're
it's just
one of
a
my
show.
favorites. They're one of my favorites.
Really?
They're
Yeah, I
always
just think they're fun.
But they're fun.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact,
Fun is
like,
good.
literally, like, in my top 20, I would put Penguin Attack in that top 20 song list.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, nonsensical and kind of comical.
But I mean, bottom line is you're supposed to be entertained. I mean,
I think
right?
that's
I mean,
Jeff's
Yeah.
if they're-
favorite tune also.
Yeah.
But I mean, truly, if something's entertaining you, does it really matter? I mean,
Right.
isn't that what it's
Yeah.
all about?
That's
Yeah.
what
Just
it's all about.
being entertained. The musicians are all good at their craft and they're entertaining you. I mean, because a lot of people reviews of Kiss. I everything always for me, my world revolves around Kiss.
Kiss.
But I mean, some of the reviews and a lot of people don't take them seriously. I mean, the
don't
Rock and
care.
Roll Hall of Fame
Right.
did not take them seriously.
Yeah, they
Rolling
did.
Stone never took them seriously. But look, where are they? I mean, how many bands they've influenced? I mean, never mind the money, but how many people they've influenced?
I always have to say when people say, well, we could bring this band to town. Oh, they won't have many people that are going to go want to see it. I'm always priding myself on being in the minority of
Yeah.
a group. I don't need to be in the
Yeah,
majority.
do you need the
I've
establishment to tell you
always
what's
liked
good?
that.
Right.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed that. If everyone doesn't like the same thing I like, then I like that even more. It's even better. You like your own thing.
But hats off to those groups though that like Kiss, like Metallica. They've been around for how long? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's
Well,
like-
even Gwar,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, how long's
Yeah.
Gwar been around? And
Forever.
lineup changes? Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
I used to watch those guys in junior high school on MTV.
I never heard of Gua.
Yeah. I'm never sure if Guar is actually taking themselves seriously. And I don't think they are, which is why what I think endears them to me.
Yeah.
Because, like, I love humor in music, and I think Guar doesn't take themselves seriously. And
Yeah.
that's what I love about it. But they're also, like extremely talented.
Yeah.
And
I
they
mean-
write good songs, but they're kind of funny at the same time.
I mean, to pull that off, you have to be a good musician. We just saw a band called Nerd Halen, and they all they did Van Halen covers, dressed like nerds, right? The guitarist was ridiculous. He
did Eruption.
nailing it.
Eruption.
Yeah, he was nailing it. And I mean, to be that good, you got to be that good to be able to go out there and do that.
Right.
I mean, seriously, and be taken seriously. I mean, of course, the lyrics were funny. They would change around the lyrics. They were hilarious.
That's cool.
It was
But
funny.
these guys were good.
Yeah.
Isn't
What's
there
that other band? That band out of Hollywood that does 80s covers. I always forget. But, I mean, and these guys are all real talented musicians. Gosh, I can't think of the name of them.
Ronnie loves them.
Yeah, we have a friend that loves them. But
Hi, Ronnie.
they do basically, it's just satire on 80s.
You know,
Yeah, they wear wigs and they wear the spandex and all
That's
that.
cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
but into-
what was it? Steel Panther.
yeah,
Yes.
Steel
Steel
Panther.
Panther.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
individually,
total,
those
like,
guys are amazing.
But they're so good, and that's what makes it work.
Yeah,
But they're
yeah.
making
The lyrics are
If you
fun and
didn't, if
campy.
you didn't listen to the lyrics, you wouldn't know they're being funny.
Yeah,
Exactly. And I'll tell you this, and I don't know if this is a popular opinion or not, but like the darkness is
yeah,
The darkness is great.
yeah.
so
The
good.
singer has a podcast on YouTube. You've got to hear. He's
Oh, yeah?
funny.
Really?
Yeah, he's really
Like,
funny.
What
Yeah,
is that? Justin Hawkins?
yeah. Justin Hawkins. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's called Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Is his
Cool.
podcast on
He
YouTube?
played it for me the other night.
Oh,
I'm like,
it's
oh my
so
gosh, this guy's a
funny.
riot.
That's funny.
Yeah, because he stops and pauses, long pauses, and
Yeah.
ponders things, and just he's great. Yeah, I mean, it made me like the darkness even more. It was just
That's
the
cool.
guy's hilarious.
Like,
Yeah,
I'll tell you, like, honestly, like, Permission to Land and it's a more recent album, but it like changed my life because at first I thought they were just making fun of themselves and making fun of the genre.
Mm-hmm.
But they are like we're talking about, just freaking amazing like musicians. And Justin Hawkins is like an amazing singer.
Yeah,
right?
his falsetto's crazy.
Oh
His
yeah,
falsetto is like
incredible.
unreal. But like,
And he's got a great smile.
oh, absolutely. Like who wouldn't take that guy home, right? But
Right?
yeah, but
Would
and
you,
like
would
I
you,
remember,
Gentry?
I'm sorry, what?
Would you just-
Pestilence would.
No, I
Pestilence,
wouldn't.
sorry, pestilence, would you?
Yeah. He said.
I remember hating their second album. Like, I didn't like their second album at all because the whole album began with flutes. But then I'm like, wait a minute, that's like totally true to, and it kind of like made me think of Spinal Tap in a way. Because like, I don't know if I take them seriously or not, and I don't think they take themselves seriously. But like, I just freaking enjoyed it. And
But they're
now
great.
I have
It's
all
good
their
fun.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's fun and they're talented and they make it work. And then I almost made my nickname for this show Barbarian, which is one of my. If you know that Darkness song, Barbarian, like it's amazing. So anyway,
Isn't that the bottom line though? You know, music should be fun. That's the beauty
Yeah.
of it. It's
Yes.
fun.
Yeah.
It's like
Yes.
no matter what you're listening to, as long as you're having fun, that's
Yeah.
the beauty of music.
That's
Yeah.
what matters. Yeah. And that even comes from being a musician. If you're
Yeah.
in a band and you're not having fun anymore,
It's not worth it, right?
yeah.
You're not doing it.
I don't
Yeah,
want to do it.
no.
And that's
You know-
why I'm going to wear Depends the next time we do one of these shows. Because I don't like to miss anything. I think that's really rock and roll.
That
Hey,
is. Yeah.
Jeff, do you remember the open mic? Now, speaking of open mics, I know it was a little bit ago, but it sparked that memory of our open mic day that we did in Long Beach,
In
in
Long
downtown Long Beach at a gay bar.
Yep.
So Jeff and I go in and decide to do a something that should not be probably played at a gay bar, which is a collective soul song, and
Oh, man.
Is it?
and then we did an original, and my God, you know they friggin' loved it. Everybody clapped. Everybody had a great time. We got
Oh, I
really
think
great
we're frozen.
response, and it
Oh,
was
no, we're not.
oh, am I frozen?
No, I thought we were frozen
Oh,
because I saw a thing and neither one of us, but we were just listening to you.
Oh.
Oh.
No, but I mean, Jeff, I know you remember that, and I have like I kind of have my own memories of it. But you know, what was your memory of that?
Yeah,
That's cool.
That was a blast. Just I remember walking to the bar because at the time I'm this good Mormon boy. I'm not as progressive as I am these days. You got to think this is 20 years ago. Tim calls me on my cell phone. He's like, "Dude, so that open mic?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm on my way." He's like, "It's a gay bar." All right, it's cool, dude. Like, let's go with it, you know. And today, it's funny that it would that wouldn't even be a phone call today. Like, there would be no warning.
It'd be like it's just here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But it was just too funny. It's like, all right, dude, like I didn't realize I just signed us up at a gay bar, but it was awesome. Super cool crowd. And yeah, we
That's
had a
so
blast.
cool.
Dude, you were just belting it. People on the street like stopped and were literally just like coming in the door from the sidewalk. And yeah, it was such a fun crowd.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Now
that's
we
a
want to
blast.
hear you guys.
Right.
Yeah, we want to hear you guys. And
And that's
Gentry,
why
you
you
have
guys
videos?
are who you are today because you went to a gay
Yeah.
bar way before.
Right? You know, and that was going to be my next question because we never heard how Tim and Jeff, we haven't heard how you guys met or anything.
Oh, that's a great
To lead it off
story.
with the gay bar story, I don't know about that. But, you know, hey, but yeah, go ahead. I want to hear that.
We're both
I wanna hear
in
that
the
story.
bathroom. And just kidding.
Somebody was tapping their foot in the stall.
That is a great story, though. How Jeff
I was working at a dealership, a BMW dealership there in Southern California. And
Orange County.
and we were having a bunch of construction being done. And so for months on end, we'd hired this valet company basically to come in and just park cars for us. Not because we were so fancy, but because we literally just like needed professionals to park our cars like sardines in a can. And so I come out one day, I'm waiting for the guy to, give me my keys, give me my car. And it's Tim and he's playing guitar. And he's like, "Oh, sorry, man. Let me get your keys." I was like, "Oh, hell no. Like you keep playing." Like,
Oh, wow.
just
He's like, I'm on lunch, man. I got time.
yeah, and it wasn't even his voice; it's just his playing. He's playing like Pearl Jam or whatever. It's just like, this dude is me playing guitar.
Yeah.
This is amazing, and yeah, we just hit it off. And yeah, it was. I mean, literally, it was,
I think
it'll be 20 years
I
ago.
think it was the next day. You brought your guitar in the morning. You go,
Oh,
I'm going
yeah.
to come out at lunch and we're jamming.
Yeah,
And I was like, okay, man.
That's freaking cool.
I love
And
that.
That's really cool. Yeah.
That's
We
so
did-
cool.
How
And
fun.
when we did play together, I think the magic of that was that we realized that we had such tight strumming. We had a very similar strumming technique, and it just kind of came together. And I've played with a lot of people, different people over time, and sometimes because I'm self-taught largely, I kind of developed my own strumming style and my own kind of way of voicing things and stuff. And a lot of the people that I played with found it hard to kind of follow along with what I was doing. You're doing up, up, down, down, up, up. You know, what are you doing? I don't understand. And like Jeff we just melded. We were like, oh my God, you are my guitar symbiote. You know, like, we were like, oh my
Wow.
God,
That's
this is
really
great.
cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything that we recorded subsequently, and that we made up songs together, we recorded covers and we did some, different things. And it all just like, when you listen to it, to this day, I'm still astonished at one take recordings that we did live with a little, MP3 player, audio, recorder thing that I had. These songs just came out amazing, and it's like, holy crap, Gentry, you got to hear some of that, and you're like, that's one take.
Please send it to us.
Yeah,
I'm dying
yeah,
to
we'd
hear
love
Sure.
to
it.
hear a bunch of this stuff.
Yeah.
I
For
heard
sure.
it the first time. It was like amazing, like, and especially to hear that they had only written that song like a couple hours before, and then they did it all in one take. Like, it's amazing, guys.
Wow, that's
It's a lot
so
of fun.
cool. I love that.
We'll
Wouldn't it be
definitely.
cool it'd be cool for
Send me
all of
some.
us to get together and jam.
I
wouldn't
know.
it? Like a whole
Yeah.
concert
Yeah.
with all of
Yeah,
us.
I
That'd be
feel like we
fucking
should all
badass.
do something.
Plan it.
Should be the season
I think we should
finale.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Big
We
jam
could all-
session.
That would
Our
be-
house or yours? We'll
that'd
go,
be
or we'll
kick-ass.
travel.
That would be so much fun.
Well,
Well,
I
they
mean,
got the
Like that.
studio already set up here. This is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and Tim and Jeff and I have been doing, or I think we've done one song, but
We
like,
recorded one so far.
Yeah, I mean, we're making it
Nice.
work. Like, we're doing like this remote recording project,
That's awesome.
sharing files over Google Files, and
sharing files, and
Yeah,
I,
isn't that crazy
Oh
how
my
you can do that now?
Mm.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
That was,
It's-
yeah, it's awesome.
And that
It
really
is-
sparked. It spurred. It was spurred on from the whole this situation with the vid and everybody locked down and all this
Yeah.
stuff. And we were like, man, we want to write music, but we can't get together, so we got to do something. We got to
Yeah.
collaborate.
Yeah.
Oh, we would sit at home at night and always watch all the live shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
During-
and it was
Oh
it's
my
like
gosh, it was
this.
awesome.
Yeah.
And people
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
all from different
Yep.
places.
Like Quarantine and all those bands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a group called Quarantine, which is Chris Jericho,
That's cool.
the wrestler.
Oh.
Chris Jericho.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
drummer plays with, who is it that country? Somebody brought him up
Luke
recently.
Bryan.
Yeah, plays with Luke Bryan.
That's cool.
One of the guitar players is in a group
Classic
called
78.
Classic 78, which this is a trippy band, but they're awesome. It's a Kiss tribute band, but they play original music. And they sound
Oh, you
like
should have brought the CD in, make it
1978
like
Kiss.
Wow.
But anyways, the guy that does the Paul Stanley parts and sings with or plays guitar with Quarantine, he's actually a country artist.
Yeah.
And when he sings
Check 'em out,
regularly,
you
yeah,
guys.
he
They're
doesn't sound
cool.
anything like Paul Stanley. But
That's crazy.
when he does Paul Stanley, he sounds like
like it.
Paul
That's
Stanley.
comes out, huh?
And then the bass
you
player
won't
was
even
from an
think it's
80s
not
band
Kiss.
called Trickster. And yeah, they just do these, and they do Kiss cover. But it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's cool.
Really
You know
cool.
where I
Even
think-
even your brother kind of capitalized on it, though. I mean, during
Oh yeah,
'cause he-
quarantine.
Yeah, because that's kind of how we met Gentry and how we got started
Yeah.
doing that stuff. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We loved all your shows during quarantine.
You mean
know?
you guys didn't meet Gentry while sacrificing a goat? You just mean to Watain?
That would have been a whole different experience. Let me tell you.
Really complete backstory that fits, Like,
Right?
I love you, Gentry.
I love it.
It's great.
Hey. Yeah.
here's where I think the event promoters missed out in quarantine is like paying for these virtual concerts. Like I get it, and that's the only option you had. Here's where I would really pay for a lot of virtual concerts is have cameras on everyone and let me choose what I want to see. And I want a camera on the mixing board. I want a camera on the guitar tech backstage. I want a camera right on the lead guitar player. Let me pick through the app, the virtual platform of what I get to watch during the concert. I would pay for that more than a live show.
Oh yeah,
That would
There's
be
a
really
Kiss-
cool.
There's a Kiss DVD that's like that, where you can pick which member that you watch throughout the concert.
There is?
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Does
Wow.
it have
we
to
have
do
it.
mixing board? Like that's the one thing that
Not the mixing board, but that would be
about
cool.
The sound guys. When I'm at a show, I swear I watch them more than I watch
Yeah.
the
The
band.
show.
And that's the place to sit, right?
Yeah.
By the soundboard.
Yeah.
You know,
The best
not.
View.
Yeah. Some people want to be cool and
Side
we
on
got to
the
be
stage.
on the side stage or backstage. You know, we're the cool guys with
You
the
don't
laminate.
hear good.
and all
But
you're
you don't
getting is
hear anything.
subwoofer. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but you don't hear anything. You got to be out there in the
fun to watch,
crowd,
but-
and
Yeah.
next to the mixing board, and watch the entire show and enjoy.
That's
it.
awesome.
Jeff, I think you hit up on something there. Maybe we should come up with an app that does that, man.
Right.
Do a
No
concert, right?
For me, that's the problem. I don't know how big the crowd, the audience would be. But like the guitar tech, I want to see that. I want to see what that dude is doing backstage as he's changing
Right.
strings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the whole show, but I want to like select.
You want to
I wanna watch.
punch around and see all the different scenes, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That
you,
would
you
be
never
cool.
know how much that the sound engineer is dancing around during the
Right.
show.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the most disappointing shows we went to was Yngwie Malmsteen at the Rialto Theater in Tucson.
Really?
And Yngwie,
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
he was the only one you saw, and his whole band was behind.
Off to the side.
Off
He
to
was
the
in front
side.
of-
Really?
He was in
In the
front of a
curtain.
stack of Marshalls with a spotlight and smoke. And
So you couldn't see anybody else.
And
Yeah,
only
no,
one
you
of
couldn't
them
see
was
anybody else.
working.
No,
That's the one they had
but
Mike.
you could still see they were back there.
Yeah.
We lasted 3 songs. I go, this is
Yeah,
so.
we
It's
said-
making me sick.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And then during quarantine, they had a pay-per-view thing, and I thought, well, maybe it's a little bit different this time. So I watched it, and no, it was
Same.
horrible. It was the same
I
thing.
mean, that's just.
That's
You
sad.
know,
Yeah,
doesn't
and he
want
tried to
be a
sing.
team.
Yeah, he tried to sing. He's got to stick to
just-
Oh,
guitar.
I didn't
what
know he
does
sang.
best.
Yeah,
He
He
doesn't.
sang. and that was made it worse.
Yeah, yeah. And we met one of his singers that sang on his first album on the boat, Jeff Scott Soto. And,
Oh, my
man,
gosh.
what a voice!
What a
that
voice.
guy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
his
And a
signature
cool guy.
guitars are impossible to play if you're a
So
guitar player.
weird.
Yeah.
The
Are the
scallop-
entire frets scalloped?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of scalps. Like, man, depending on the pressure, you're always out of tune. You know.
Yeah.
I watched this YouTube video of a guy who bought like a fake Yngwie Malmsteen Strat from like Alibaba from China. You know, and like he actually said it was pretty good in the end, but like not the real thing. So, but you know, I'd rather pay $200 than as opposed to whatever $20,000 or something.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I mean, Pestilence has unlimited funds.
Right? Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah, you know what? I don't even think we said what it was. Did we? Iron
No.
Maiden, Sun and Steel.
We just decided it was a Sapporo or
I thought we did.
Karen's type
yeah,
of
no,
beer,
we
but-
didn't talk about it. It's Iron Maiden's Trooper, Sun and Steel.
Sun and Steel.
Yeah.
Very tasty, by the way. Very
It
good.
is.
I do like this one. Yeah.
Cheers. Did you like it,
It's
Jeff?
very good.
I did, yeah. This is exactly what I'm looking for when I want to break from an IPA. This is the
Okay.
type of Pilsner I really enjoy. Or one
I
of them.
agree. I agree.
So this has
It is
been
quite nice.
This has been Now That's Music to My Beers.
With, with the title yet to be determined.
Yes, we have to determine a title. And actually, we'll send you guys a list of titles to choose from. So we're picking heavy metal songs as the title.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we'll have
Can I show my shirt? Can I show my?
Oh,
yeah, show your shirt. Absolutely,
absolutely.
man. That's freaking awesome. Your shirt's awesome.
Heavy metal beer. Can I please send me one of those? I will pay you.
We will.
Yeah, we'll send one to you.
And real quick, where can
Send
people
one
find
to
you?
all of you.
On YouTube.
On YouTube at Heavy Metal Beer Club, and we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. It's the condensed versions, and also on Twitter.
Cool.
I was going to say early in the show, I was going to give a shout out to your TikTok. I really like that format for just
Oh,
like,
thank you.
It's a nice, quick, you get to hear about
Yeah.
the beer, hear your guys' take on it. You use the TikTok platform perfectly.
Oh, appreciate that. Thank you.
Very cool.
Got a lot to check out.
I watch you guys on YouTube, and sometimes on Instagram, you'll come across on Instagram on mine. I'll check you guys out on that too. So it's very cool.
Thanks, you guys.
And thank you for your support.
We love you guys.
yeah, we
like I
love
said,
you
we've
guys.
been watching for a long time.
I didn't know you did a YouTube channel. So my bad. I mean, I'm going to go back and return the love.
I know. We'd watch you guys drink the beers with Jeff. We're all like, oh, we just loved it. And then I'm like, oh, Arthur, go get us a beer.
That's
very
awesome.
cool.
All right, so Tim, we'll let you go. Thank you so much for jumping on this one. I'm so glad
Thank
you
you.
had a
Cheers.
chance to jump on.
Cheers, everyone.
Appreciate it. Appreciate meeting you, Heavy Metal Beer Club, and
Always
I
a real
hope
pleasure.
do this again soon. And I'll definitely we'll send some music your way and send some beers as well.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks,
it.
guys.
Awesome.
You guys have a great night. Enjoy your barbecue.
You too, Tim. We'll see you.
All right, take care, guys.
Bye.
Now we got Pestilence in
now
full
we see.
screen.
Yeah,
Right,
we see
look at that.
Pestilence in full screen.
You guys, I truly feel like this would not be in a complete episode unless I showed you my
I'm waiting.
Dark Lord and Master.
With Baphomet. So we have a picture, a full-on picture of Andrea with Baphomet because we went to Salem, Massachusetts in September. Yeah, and so for the heck of it, she's like, oh, let's go check out, the.
Adrian brought it up. Really, I
it was a
really
friend,
wanna go
and so we
there.
went to the Satanic Temple. And so I didn't
I
go
didn't
in.
really want to go, but my friend Adrian Smith said, let's go. And I'm like, well, if she wants to go, I'm in.
And so she got a picture of it. So weird thing. I'm sitting. So I've got a couple other YouTube channels where I just throw junk up on there or videos. I was filming a squirrel outside of the Satanic Temple, and I got something like 2,000 views. Squirrel.
A squirrel.
It's crazy how that works. Yeah. That's funny.
Actually, so I love the Satanic Temple's commandments. I don't know what they call them, but they're very reasonable.
Yeah, they are.
The last time, you'll read them, and it's
They're
just
very
a good
reasonable.
human being, and you respect each other.
Yeah.
But I love that. If I remember right, the last line of a few of them was like, "Or you will be destroyed." Whoa.
You guys, so funny story. So I took inspiration from Jeff's ice bucket last time, right?
Oh, no. The salad bowl?
Almost.
The salad bowl.
Peas, frozen peas,
There you go. There you go, Gentry.
and a little bit of
works.
ice. That's all I had.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
It's very pestilence, this.
Right?
Thank you.
Now I'll actually be able to.
Hey, now that's music to my beat.